What
Nice
up,
intro.
fam? How's
That
it
was sick.
going? Thank you. I like any time to be a Scream nerd. I'm happy. How's everyone doing? Thanks for being here. I'm so excited. I just get to be an unabashed nerd tonight. I've been so looking forward to this. Everyone, welcome back to the channel, Mr. Sledgehammer Horror.
Very happy to be back.
And dude, I'm gonna be like, talk about being a fanboy. I've been a fanboys of yours, dude, for the longest time. I'm so honored you're here, Cody fucking Leach,
What's happening, people?
the goat of horrortube.
Well, thank you.
How's it going, dude?
It's Monday. I think that pretty much sums it up. But yeah, we're doing pretty good.
How about you, Ken?
Very happy to be here. Been, like he said, it's Monday. Ready to be here, shut my brain off, and just have some fun with some of my friends.
Mhm.
I'm so excited.
Good
So I guess everyone knows Scream just came out, Scream 7. I feel like it seems the reaction is a bit mixed in general.
Yeah, you could say that. It's all over the place.
Yeah. Also, by the way, sorry, I'm skipping ahead, but hi to all of our beautiful chat friends. It's Terror Time again. Greatest song ever. So I feel like, am I wrong? Or I feel like Scream. I've heard you guys say Scream is not like on the highest of your franchise ranking.
I took a long time to warm up to Scream. I've told this story a few times, but like Scream turned me into a little gatekeeper when I was like 7 years old. So I grew up watching horror from like when I was 4. And so like I grew up with Freddy and Chucky and Pet Sematary and Phantasm and the original Halloween and all this. And nobody my age watched horror. Certainly wasn't allowed to watch it or didn't talk about it or whatever. So I just felt like this was my own little world. And then all of a sudden Scream comes through and fucks that up. And so when I was, I want to say it was after Scream 2 or Scream 3, I remember distinctly that year. It was Halloween. And, you know, when you're in elementary school, you can wear your costume that day. And I'm not bullshitting when I say there was like 8 ghost faces in my classroom. And I was like, this is bullshit. Like, you're not real horror fans. You motherfuckers just joined. Like, get out of here. And so for some weird reason, I used to have a lot of like aversion to Scream for that. And then eventually when I was, you know, actually matured and stopped being an idiot, when I was like in my late teens, early 20s, I started to rewatch them. And I was like, you know, these are pretty damn good. So they're not like, yeah, it's not on like my Mount Rushmore, but it's previous to this weekend, not the color where my thoughts are going to go. I would have said Scream and Evil Dead are the 2 most consistent horror franchises where no matter like the floor is not very low for them. And you can always pretty much bet it's going to be a solid movie. So I'm a Scream fan, but probably more on the casual side than some.
That's funny. It was the opposite for me. That Scream, I think I saw it when I was like 7, when it first came out on video. That's how friggin' old I am. I should deny that. Why am I admitting that? But that's kind of the thing that really made me a horror fan. And then I started binging marathoning all the franchises with my dad, Freddy, Jason, all of them. What about you, Ken?
I mean, I'm kind of with Cody on this one. I'm a little bit older than both of you. So, like, when the movies came out, to me, it was like when Blink-182 released Enema of the State, and everybody was walking around singing All the Small Things and What's My Age Again. And I was like, fuck you, poser. I like Dude Ranch. You know what I mean? So I definitely get where you're coming from. Like, it made horror cool. Like, my mom and dad owned a video store growing up, so I was always in the video store. You know, I was always in, my mom and dad had a mom and pop called Downtown Video.
That's cool.
And so,
That would have been my dream job.
yeah, I was always, just, watching horror movies. Like House was my first horror movie, and then I just went down that rabbit hole of old 80s horror movies. And then this came out, and everybody that would pick on me was asking me horror questions. And like I was like, oh, you motherfucker. But I did love it. It was one of those things where it was like, to go back to reference music, I was a huge punk rock kid, and then when Toxicity came out, I was such a closet System of a Down fan, and I was like, yeah, fucking trendy shit. Then I'd go home and listen to that record on repeat over and over and over again, and that was kind of that with this. I was like, if you want to, Scream ain't shit without Nightmare on Elm Street, then I'd go home and be like, I'm going to pop and Scream. I fucking love this movie, but I can't tell anybody that I love it, because I don't want to be trendy. But then like Cody said, you mature and you realize, like, Scream genuinely kind of saved the horror genre at the time. You look at the movies that were coming out in 94, 95, and then the movies that were coming out in 97, 98, and you see the impact that Scream had in rejuvenating the genre that we all love so much.
Did you guys get the same shit I did as a kid? Because I feel like now it's acceptable to love horror movies, but when I was a kid, it wasn't so much. And did you guys get the same shit as a serial killer?
Cut out.
Mine did?
Yeah, your mic. Yeah.
Yeah, you were. We missed half of what you just asked. I'm sorry.
Oh, back in the day, did you get the same shit that it was like, oh, he's going to grow up to be a serial killer?
Well, it was tenfold for me because I think just because it was like the highest rated school in the area from kindergarten through second grade, I actually went to a Christian private school. And so like that was, you couldn't even say that you like rock music. And so I still to this day think that my experience in that school is what's kind of like made me hesitant to like get involved with religion. But yeah, so it was tenfold for that, and you definitely got a lot of looks. You still get them. I mean, when I talk about bringing my kids to certain movies, I'll still get one comment at least. It's like, you brought your daughter to Megan too, and I'm like,
oh my God.
Yeah, I did.
That's what I love about both of you also, is you always post videos of watching horror movies with your kids. I love that so much because I watch them all with my dad. We even turned my mom into a horror fan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's important too that people know, like, and I don't want to speak for Cody, but I know that he's on the same wavelength as I am, is where like we never shoved horror down our kids' throat.
No.
Like we let them come to us when they were ready and tell us, I want to see this, I want to watch this. So I think that it was, I tried with Kenley. She was about 2. I tried Martyrs, and she wasn't feeling it. So, we went from there. And no, but I do think that your children will decide for you when they're ready for it. And yeah, it's the greatest feeling in the world when you walk out of a horror movie and your daughter is excited. Like Scream 7, like we saw Stu on the screen, and she was like, "Dad, Stu's dead." And I was like, let's keep watching and see what happens, babe. Let's give it some time. She was like, but she was genuinely pissed. Like, no, he's dead. Sparks were on him because we had just did our Scream watch along. And me and her watched the first 4 together before we went into 7, so she could kind of be caught up a little bit. And she was so adamant about it throughout the whole movie. She's like, she's like, those cuts are from the sparks in the TV. She was so adamant of the fact that Stu was dead. So I just think that, like I said, it's all important about when they're ready, and it's just like anything else in the world. If you force it on them, they're going to hate it.
Yeah. I totally would if I had kids. I'm like, be anything you want in the world, but you better love horror movies. Very upset otherwise. Duke says, guys, talk Mikey down from his newness bias. He always loves new Scream movies when they first come out, despite teenage girls killing Dewey. I do. Oh, by the way, I should say to anyone watching, there surely be lots of spoilers. So if you've not yet seen Scream 7, go do it and then come back here. Thank you so much for the super chat, Courtney, my love. Horror is very literally prescribed for trauma therapy. It's not for psychos. It's for people who may deal with psychos. This 100%. Yeah. I could not agree more.
It sounds like me if I was a doctor. It'd be like, oh, you got trauma? Here's Phantasm 2.
Right.
I would so go to you. You would be my doctor.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you got that type of trauma? Here, go watch Eden Lake. This will make you feel a little better about yourself.
God. Yeah.
I actually that has been on my to-watch list for about a decade.
Good luck.
I haven't gotten around to it. I've heard it. Isn't it depressing?
Oh, God. Like, yes. Like
that's It's so funny. Are you going to talk about Chuck, Cody?
Yes.
Go ahead. You do it.
My podcast co-host, that's his favorite movie of all time, or at least in the conversation of it, I think he says. And I know his taste. Like, he's very much into the fucked up movies. If it's dark, depraved, depressing, nihilistic, like makes you feel like shit afterwards, that's his thing. I'm not that way. Like, I appreciate that. I get that sometimes horror has to go there, but certain times it's just like I have to have some form of entertainment value out of this, and that's very hard sell for me to get there. And so we were talking about movies of 2025, and he had not seen F1. And so I'm like, dude, you got to watch F1. And he's like, well, I'll watch F1 if you watch Eden Lake. Not a fair trade, by the way, Chuck. I was like, all right, fine, fuck it, I'll watch it, because it had been on my list for a while anyway. And so I watched that movie, man, and like I knew what I was getting into, but afterwards it's just like, Jesus Christ, dude, I gotta like fucking take a bubble bath and like call my mom or something. Like, this is crazy. And so it's definitely one of those films where have something happy planned for afterwards. Have like a root beer float and a fucking boba tea or something waiting, and just Yeah, get ready to be depressed.
Me and Chuck were having a conversation about it, and he goes, "Well, you're not going to believe me, so I got to show you." He has Eden Lake bedding.
Oh yeah,
Like his pillowcases are Eden Lake. Like,
yeah.
dude, it's incredible. Like his love for that movie. Like I said, I respect that movie. I watched it. It tore me to pieces, and I don't ever got to watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
But man, he loves that movie, and I love Chuck. So much respect to him. And when he showed me the pillowcases, I was like, dude, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like,
that's someone I need to be friends with.
Oh, dude, Chuck's great guy.
That's one of the reasons I like doing a podcast with him, because we're so just like different people. And it's like, what's your favorite movie? Eden Lake. What's yours? Die Hard. You know what I mean? Like, just yin and yang.
The number one movie that I will never, as long as I live, ever watch again. Oh my god. So I had friends staying at my house. I literally lost friends because of this movie. And there was this movie that I had heard is the most disturbing movie of all time. And I was like, what could possibly be in it? It's a movie. Could this happen? This happen? What, like, we should watch it, because what could possibly happen in this movie that's so terrible? And the fact that your mind can't conceive of what happens in this movie, it shows that you're normal. A fucking Serbian film.
I knew it. I knew it.
I still have never seen it. I refuse.
I think they viewed it as like a reflection of me that we watched this movie.
I actually, at my job that I was at before I went full-time YouTube, there was a guy who was like really hyping that movie up one day. I walked up and they're having like a little sidebar conversation. And he's like, yeah, dude, it's fucking awesome. Like, you skull fuck somebody to death. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And he's like, oh, this guy's trying to get us to watch a Serbian film. He says it's awesome. And I'm like, do you know what happens in that movie? Come over here. And like, that, I swear to God, like, I usually am that guy. I'm like, hey, if you like it, cool, whatever. It's, I'm not going to yuck on your yum. That was one where I was like, I'm watching that motherfucker. Like, I'm in the same plane as him. Doors are closed. Like, that's a weird fucking movie to get hyped about.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. I'm like, I found my line. It is drawn right fucking there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our friend, Dice Roland, called me because somebody had recommended us to watch a Serbian film on a live stream, and I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And right when the stream ended, I got a phone call from Dice, and Dice was like, Ken, absolutely not. She was like, they're like, I know you, and that is not going to be your thing. I'm telling you right now, you and Ashley do not need that in your life. And I was like, Dice?
I know the bullet points, and there's not enough money in the world. I've had people literally offer to pay me to review it. I'm like, there is not a dollar amount in this world that will get me to watch that film. I do not need that in my brain.
I want to go back to a time before I saw it.
Yeah.
Hernandez, dude, thank you so much. Followed Cody here, found 2 new channels. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the crazy train. Also, what's up? Lost River Drive-In. How's it going?
What's up, Nick?
Come on, Nick.
Channel. All right, so I guess we should get into it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess overall thoughts. Shall we start with Cody? Scream 7.
Yeah, so like I actually walked into this trying to be optimistic because, as I said, like Scream has never really let me down. Like I had major issues with the last 20 minutes of Scream 6. I still overall would give like an unenthusiastic thumbs up to that movie because there was a lot of fun to be had until that. And so, I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. There was a lot of writing on the wall when it came to like changing scripts, changing the lead actress, and changing directors, and all the crazy shit that has just plagued this movie for the last 2 years. That very rarely ends up making for a good movie. But I was still holding out hope of like, but it's Scream. Like, Scream can't really miss. And this is the first time that it missed for me. Now, with that said, like, this is hard my least favorite of the Scream franchise, but if this is the floor, this is still significantly higher of a floor than a lot of other horror franchises. I think that's important to state. But for the standards that I have for Scream and the standards that I think Scream has set for itself, this just doesn't measure up. You know, like Neve Campbell's great. I don't think she can do a bad job as Sydney, even if the writing lets her down. I think that there was something interesting there with her and her daughter that, you know, has some good sequences. I think that as a director, Kevin Williamson certainly is not the best yet, but there's moments where I think he shows some growth since teaching Miss Tingle. Like the wall sequence was really cool. I think the opening was great. There was a couple other moments, like the idea on paper of her trying to like guide her daughter to load the pistol and everything through the little Vivint camera is cool in theory. But my God, the writing. Like, that was my biggest fear was we're hiring Kevin Williamson to direct but not write.
Right.
What the fuck? That's like having the cook wash the dishes and the dishwasher cook the meal. And so to me, it was just that was my biggest concern no matter what. And even though he got a co-writing credit, I guess he might have done a few little mild rewrites. I'd love to know which scenes it were. To me, the story, the whole vibe of the film, the characters, and then especially the attempts at meta commentary and exponentially more the Ghostface reveals was just like the worst that we've ever gotten in this franchise, where the Ghostface reveal could have saved the movie for me, and all it did was just go off a cliff even worse than 6, where I'm like, no, that's unacceptable. Like how this third act was shot is baffling to me.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Ken?
I do like it more than Cody. This is not my least favorite in the franchise. I texted him that, and he was like, well, we're going to have a discussion about that, man. But the first 2 acts, I really was having a good time. I think that once the reveal happens, things happened so quickly after that it really brought it as bad as the reveal was. When I heard the line, and we are doing spoilers, guys, so if you haven't seen it, I'm really going to spoil something here. When I heard the line, I used to be an AI tech at Google. I was like, what the fuck? So you went from being an AI tech at Google to a orderly at a, you know what I mean? Like,
when you put it like that, damn.
You know what I mean? It's just like that to me. And again, I was somebody that I'm with Cody. Even if there's a movie I don't particularly like, I always want horror to succeed. You know, I think what's good for the goose is good for the gander. As long as horror is doing good, that's awesome. So I went into this really, really excited about it. And like I said, the first 2 acts, I was digging it. I was like, this is fun. This is good. I'm going to have a good time with this movie. And when we got to the reveal, it actually made me laugh. Because when we first saw the mom, Ashley was like, she's Ghostface because Sydney's dog shit in her yard. And this is her way of getting back at her. And at the end of the movie, I was like, that actually would have been a better motive. I would have.
Did you guys know who the Ghostface killers were before the third act?
Oh,
I had a feeling just because everyone else was dead or proven innocent by that point. I didn't expect Mr. Google AI, but I just thought like the can't hardly wait guys here for 2 minutes to be an orderly. There's got to be something more to him.
There was so much about the way they did this movie where I was like, oh my God, really? Like I've bitched the last couple of movies, and I'm pretty high on Scream 5. Even in that movie, I bitched about how much it was telegraphed, at least how one of the ghost faces were. So I don't think they've done a great job with this since 4. But with this one, like the moment that neighbor showed up, and I'm like, interesting. This is the first character of the whole fucking movie that just lore dumps. Yeah. That's weird. And then you have, like you said, Ethan Embry. I'm like, why would you cast Ethan Embry for this one fucking scene? And the fact, they just show up at this random place, and do you know where this guy is? Oh man, well it's like highly fucking illegal, but you guys are cool. Come here, let me show you something. And I'm like, come on, get the fuck out of here. And so I was holding out hope of like, okay, and as you said, process of elimination in the second act, it's like it only reaffirms your suspicions where you're like, there's only like 3 people left. Okay. But I was really holding out hope, like at least maybe the motivation will save it, or there's a secondary twist where these are actually like fake ghost faces, and like Stu will come out of the shadows or some shit, like and blow their heads off, and then it'll cut to credits or something for 8, like something badass. Maybe, please God. And then you get to the third act. Masks come off, and I'm like, yup. And then this chick just rambles on about fucking your book inspired me to be a killer, but then you bitch, you weren't in the last movie, so now I'm gonna kill you. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I don't need to skip to the third act because we got a lot to cover, but like, that was just to me where I'm like, this is unacceptable as a reveal. Like, I thought 6. I hated the reveals in 6. It angered me so much because I loved everything up to that point. I was literally like, Scream 6 is like my favorite Scream sequel. And then that last 20 minutes, I'm like, this might be the worst one. And so I, like a lot of people, saw 6 and I'm like, well, it'll never be this bad again. Like this is the floor for Ghostface reveals. And this one just fucking just pounded through that floor and just was like, nope. And now I look back at 6 and I'm like, I was a little too rough on you. You're not too bad.
I brought my notes with me from when we were watching the movie, and I was taking my notes, and because I didn't know their names.
You're as much of a nerd as we are.
And in my notes, I put the killers are the orderly from the hospital. What the fuck? And the weird kid's mom.
Mm-hmm. I did think it was going to be her son also.
See, I didn't. I thought it was like I knew that him and the boyfriend were safe.
Herring to me.
Yeah, but yeah, there's just so much about this movie where, and like I said, I really did like the first 2 acts. I think the kills in this movie are fantastic. I thought the beer tap one was a great idea that didn't have the best execution. I wish it would have looked a little bit better. But I think that the big thing was everybody was bummed out about Stu. I would have been more bummed if he was alive.
Same.
And I really felt like the one thing for me is like when they threw the shade at the Stu truthers there, and he's like, "You really thought it was Stu? He's dead." Mm-hmm. I was like, "Oh my god, this fucking."
Yeah, but here's the thing: the movie's bold enough to do that, but don't you count Stu out yet? Because I guarantee you, Matthew Lillard has a multi-movie deal, and I guarantee you they're sticking that in the back pocket in case shit goes bad, and eventually they'll pull that out. Mark my words. Mark this fucking stream; it'll happen. And I'm not a Stu truther, but that's the only cards they have left to play at this point.
Death has to be final. When death is not final, I used to watch this show called Revenge. That it was like. The girl's father died and she was getting revenge on the people. And then, spoilers, if anyone cares about watching that show in the current year, a couple seasons in, they run out of ideas. And they're like, actually, her father isn't really dead. And it destroyed the whole show. So I think that the same thing happened on a bunch of the American Horror Story seasons, that they bring characters back from the dead. When death is not final, there's no more stakes. So I've, for a long time, been like, please do not bring.
Well, they're not far away from that because everybody who gets stabbed in these movies like still lives. I mean, like
the plot armor in this movie.
You got Gale with like her trauma nerve damage, and it's like, what the fuck about Chad? Like he's been a pincushion for the last 2 movies. He's fine.
I counted, by the way, on my last rewatch of 6, 17 times he gets stabbed.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And at the end, he's like, "I'm good, kiss me, babe."
Yeah.
Okay, wait, we got to talk about Courtney Cox in a second because I got some shit to say. But first, let me just say, I have to separate, church and state here. I'm such a fanboy that I had the best fucking time. I loved it. I had a great time. However, objectively, it pains me to agree with you guys. It pains me. But I still loved it and had the best time. My friends and I were having our little investigation from our seats, figuring everything out. And I
envy you. I never like not having a good time. I took my daughter. She really enjoyed it, and so I got to somewhat live vicariously through her. But I was sitting there the whole time like, I can't tell her how much this is pissing me off because I'm gonna break her little heart.
Oh, that's awesome.
Objectively, you guys are right about a lot of things. I will say, I think directorially, it was a step in the right direction. My wish is that they would bring back Peter Deming to be the DP, because this digital look of the last 3 films, where especially in the 3rd act, everything is so dark, you can barely see what's going on. So I can't stand the look of it, but I think it was a big step up in terms of suspense, in terms of chase scenes, in terms of things being drawn out. I really liked the pacing of the first 2 acts, especially. There were moments that they let it breathe, especially in the opening, because that's one of the things that really pissed me off about 5 and 6, that it just felt like it was speed running through everything. Like there's this moment in the opening of 5 where he calls her and he's like, "Do you think I got into your house or not?" And you think it's going to be a tense scene, and then he just pops out immediately. So I think it was a step in the right direction in terms of building more tension.
I will say that 6 and 7 probably gave me at least Scream 6. I'm not a huge Scream 6 fan. I actually still have Scream 6 below Scream 7 in my rankings. But Scream 6, I could give it the credit for the ladder scene. I think is one of the most, probably the most anxious I've ever felt in a Scream movie. This one tried to do that when they were in the wall, and it was a good scene. But you knew that Tatum and Sydney are safe, so there was really no stakes to be had there. But the way that they're giving the people plot armor now, and it's not just Mindy and Chad, her husband too, Mark. I was like, when they brought him out and he was still breathing, I was like, what the?
Yeah.
I loved him, by the way. I thought he was the highlight of this movie. At first, I was upset that they recast Patrick Dempsey, and now I'm glad they did. I thought he was amazing.
one thing he said that bothered me, and maybe this is just me looking too far into things and putting my own life into movies. Him and Sydney are laying in bed, and they're having a conversation. And he goes, yeah, he goes, do you think they're doing it? And I was like, there's no fucking dad of a teenage girl that fucking talks like that. No. Like, I looked at Ashley and I was like, no, there's no fucking way I could ever say that shit to you. Like, I don't want to think it. That's the bye-bye man to me. Don't think it. Don't say it. Like, just keep that shit away from me as far as you can. So, and again, I like Mark. I like his character. I do. Like, I love the fight scene, and when he tells Tatum to get down and he kicks, like, that whole scene to me was fucking awesome. Like, that was great. But that one line, I was like, Mark, no. Dads don't talk like that, man.
Yeah.
I'm worried that they were going to make Sydney's husband into, like, a doormat, basically. Just a very weak man. So I love the fact that he really held his own.
He did pretty good in the fight, but then there's a part of that still was there where it's like the entire second half of the film, nobody gives a fuck to like actually check up on him or like make sure that he's okay. Like, first of all, why did he go back into the unsecured house? But anyway, like the whole second half where it's like ghost faces everywhere and like going after the daughter, nobody's ever like, is he okay? Maybe we should go back to the house. Like, where's dad been? Nobody cares until they wheel his ass out. Oh fuck, I forgot about you. And so that was something as a husband where I'm like, man, fuck both of you.
Like, what's her name?
I fought Ghostface for both of you. You didn't even call me. Anyway.
It's like, what's her name? Karen Strode.
Yeah, I made that comparison in my review. I was like, we're borderlining on Judy Greer's husband here, where everybody's just like, fuck him, run. I have a hard time with Joel McHale in horror movies, but I think that this is by far the best that he's been. I think that he was terrible, in my opinion, in Becky. And then the whole movie's not good, but I don't think he was very good in It's a Wonderful Knife either. I just think that his comedy sensibilities don't transfer over to being like a serious role like some people can do. But he was a lot better in this one, so I'll give him a little credit for that.
Sorry.
I forgot what we were talking about before we got on Joel McHale. I was going to continue on. But yeah, I thought the same thing as you, Ken. Whenever he said that, I was like, no. Like, first of all, the fact that Sydney's the one in the room and not the dad being like, get out of here, you little bitch. Like, yeah, I don't know. I liked how playful they were after that, though. Like, I bought their chemistry. I liked the first act of the movie and how they kind of established her family. I dug all of that.
Let me, oh my God, I should say, one second, let me hit up some super chats. Maddie, my love, thank you so much. I get people didn't like the reveal at the end, but for me, it felt like it was more about the journey to get to the reveal, so it worked for me.
That's fair.
I think the reveal is such a huge piece of a Scream experience. I just don't think you can discount that as like, well, if it sucks, it doesn't matter. Like, to me, that's a big piece of the pie.
I really they honestly, for me at least, have not had a good reveal since 4. I really feel like they need to figure out a story to tell start with the reveal and then work backwards.
Well, that's what Wes Craven used to do. Like, he was like anal about it, to where it's like, okay, here's our ghost faces, and like he would go to the point where he would literally plan out like and figure out, okay, this kill is actually going to be Stu. This kill is Billy. Like, he went with that level of planning to make sure everything was good, everything was copacetic. And I'm with you. Like, I like 5 a lot, and there's things about 6 I really enjoy. There's a couple things I enjoy about this movie, but the reveals have not, like, really hit since 4.
Right.
And you know, Father, so I guess it really wasn't particularly portrayed much on screen, but I think what they were going for with the reveal is it being about this parasocial sort of thing. And the thing is, if you're going to do that, there is so much material to get into. I mean, if it were, I think it would make more sense if it was somebody who had this parasocial relationship with Sydney, and so they're trying to protect her because they love her, but they're killing all her friends and family. So, like, that would make more sense to me. If you're gonna delve into that, then delve into it.
Yeah, we'll talk about the meta commentary at some point because I got a lot of thoughts on that, but I'm with you.
There's a couple lines directly where I was like, that's some shade thrown right there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I could not believe it when Gale said, I wasn't fired, my contract wasn't renewed.
I was like, get out of here, dude. I'll be honest with you, like, I didn't agree with the boycott. I think if you want to stand for something, you should really stand for it and by that, I don't mean just like not watching a movie. I think you should really, take a real stand for something. But I thought that was a low blow. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Like, I think, and I'm not trying to say I'm best friends with Melissa Barrera. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But I've gotten to meet her twice, and both times she was extremely kind, extremely genuine, extremely sweet with her time. I thought that was a low blow, and I didn't like it. Like, honestly, like, that rubbed me the wrong way. Like, it was bullshit enough what happened to her. Don't poke it like that. I don't think anybody should have their contract not re-signed or be fired because of their political beliefs on either side of the aisle. I think that's what used to make this country amazing, is we had the ability to state our, and there was no hate in what she said, but to jab at her like that, personally, it wasn't my thing. I didn't like it. I literally was like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm a catty bitch, so I liked it, but no, I couldn't agree more. But the thing that pisses me off is all these people who are, again, and I'm completely, like, her and I have completely opposite views on this, but I would never want somebody for expressing their view to be fired from something. But the thing is, all those people who are against her being fired support everyone else being fired when it's not their views. No. So I feel like you're like one of the only people who has a universal principle on this. Your job should not be in danger for expressing reasonable mainstream views that are shared by millions of people.
I just think that people people want to be tribal about so many things. If they can't currently be it about politics, they'll find something else. And like Ken was saying, they direct their energy in the wrong way. So it's like, if you are standing with Melissa and what she was speaking out against, there's ways to actually maybe make an impact on that. Boycotting Scream 7 is not that it. It's not going to do shit. If you're trying to support Melissa's career, hurting this movie does not help her career. You know what helps her career? Watching Abigail. That fucking bombed, and it was bullshit. And watching Your Monster. Nobody watched Your Monster. So like, that was me, where I made a point to say that in my review, where I'm like, I am Team Nev Campbell. I love her. Good for her for sticking to her guns, because she is the queen of Scream, and it's bullshit that she had to even fight for that. At the same time, I support Melissa. You know how I do it? By watching her fucking movies and telling everybody to go watch them.
Yeah. No, I agree. I actually, I'm completely Team Nev Campbell, but I actually liked her in 5 and 6. She was not one of the things I had an issue with in 5 and 6. I think she did a great job. Yeah, but I think
she's only gotten better, too, because she's great in Abigail. And Your Monster, I didn't like near as much as Abigail, but she's the best that she's been in anything in Your Monster.
I agree. Yeah. I thought the only problem with Your Monster was the predictability of the story.
Yeah.
But she was the absolute best thing about that movie. And you know how I feel about Abigail as well. Mm-hmm. If you want to support her, go support her. Don't ruin the movie for other people. That was where I sat.
It's such bullshit. I don't believe that these people who are so vitriolic and pretend that they're just big fans of hers, I don't believe they give two shits about her. It's a specific type of person who just wants to hate anything. They're not interested in supporting her. They're not going to see her movies. They just really love pretending to be outraged about whatever it is this week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Next week they'll be on to the next outrage.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sorry, let me hit up Superchats. Sean, thanks so much, dude.
What's up, Sean?
Bobby. Confession, I just saw the new Scary Movie trailer, and my reaction was, wait, didn't they just make one of these and it's out now? Nuh-uh. It is not the same thing. However,
there's moments where it might feel like Scary Movie 6.
Shut up, Cody.
There was a lot of parts of that trailer that audibly made me laugh out loud in the theater.
I never thought I would be so excited to see a scary movie. It looks good.
I'm somebody who's been bitching, like, relentlessly, that comedy has just slowly died the most tragic death over the last 15 years. And so I'm really hoping this is one of those movies that's going to start to kickstart its heart again.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I laughed my ass off that scene.
When I saw them taking shots at liberals and conservatives in the trailer, I was like, I'm fucking in.
That's what
I am fucking in. Yeah. Yes. We're going to show up. We're going to party, do some half gay shit. Why's it got to be half gay?
Those are my favorite types of movies, where it's like there's so much that's ridiculous about every single one of us. It's like, if you can't laugh at yourself, you got no business laughing at other people. And so if you can find a way to cut through and get to both, and we can high five each other in the theater, be like, that was fucking true, man. That was awesome. That's the best.
Oh, yes. I love that. Mm-hmm. That's 100% what we need to get back to. I saw somebody, you guys know Mike from We Watched a Movie.
Mm-hmm.
I saw people were going after him on Twitter because he was talking about the Super Bowl, and he was like, I watched both halftime shows. I hated both of them. I wish everyone could just come together. And they're going after him for saying we should all come together. What a monster! Who would say such a thing? We should all come
weirdest
together.
things. The weirdest things nowadays are people like jump off points for people to lose their minds. Like I think it was Kevin James not too long ago. Somebody was asking him about politics, and he's like, "I am far from an expert. My job is to entertain everybody and try to distract you from that." And it's like, yeah, that's a perfect answer for an actor to say. And of course, you hear that, and all people say is, "Well, if he was liberal, he would not be afraid to say what he had to say. So he must be on the other side." And it's like, that's so against the point. Like, oh my God.
And not only that, but then those same people that say that are the people that'll be like, "Oh, you're just an actor. Keep your politics out of it."
Yeah.
It's like, dude, the dude can't win.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm with you. Like, I'm so tired of, you're at the red carpet to talk about your movie, and someone's like, "What do you think about the war in Iran?" It's like, dude, we're here to talk about my fucking movie. Like, piss off with that shit. I don't want to hear about it anymore. This is my escape from that.
Yes.
That's why I watch this shit, to escape from the real life horror. Like, just stick with that.
Oh, nothing pisses me off more nowadays than when I'm watching a movie. And even if it's politics I agree with, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to think about politics. Like, keep it out of shit. And then when they say to that, "Oh, horror started as political," blah, okay, but that was a different landscape then. It's not nowadays where everything has to be politicized. Like, we need to get away from it for 2 hours at least.
I think you can have a movie, especially you can have a horror film that is not inherently political. If you take something out of it, that's fine. We all read into movies differently. That's the beauty of it. But yeah, like the horror has always had subtext and has always had comment for sure, undeniably. But that doesn't mean every horror film is inherently political. Like, to me, that's just a weird way to view the world, where it's like everything you see, you have to put on the politics glasses and see what filters through.
And with that, if you don't agree with my stance on what this movie means, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You didn't understand this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't understand. Oh, those are the most insufferable people.
Get a lot of those when Ari Aster makes a movie.
Oh my God.
It just went over your head, bro.
Yeah. You didn't get it. That's okay. It's like, oh, motherfucker. Oh.
I can get something and still not like it. That's not really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see The Hunt? It made fun of both sides. I loved The Hunt. I loved how they made
That's how horror... Whenever you're... Matt Stone and Trey Parker said the best thing. I heard this when I was like 11, and it stuck with me since then. If you draw a line in the sand somewhere, you have no right being comedians anymore. Because if you're going to draw that line and say, well, we can't make fun of this, then you're worrying about offending those people. Then you have to be worried about offending these people, and these people, and these people. And that's why you just say, fuck it. I'm making fun of everybody. I'm making fun of everything. And that's it.
Yeah.
And I totally stand by that. And I'm not like I haven't watched South Park in probably 10 years. But I support those guys. I'm glad that they're doing what they're doing. I still watch clips, and I think it's funny as hell. But
nobody can fuck you up worse than South Park.
Yeah.
Like, I'm with you. I haven't like actually watched episodes, but you and I watched the same clip after, certain things were happening recently, and it was just like, oh my God, I'm on the fucking floor holding my side.
Yes, dude. Like, and again, I'll always support those guys because they will always do what they want to do.
Yeah.
There isn't anything for them where they're like, we can't touch that. Yeah. And I think that's how comedy should be.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious too, though, when people act like they want artists to take some stand. What do you want them to do about it? Like, I saw some clip recently of some singer at a concert, and people stand up in the concert and interrupt her whole concert, talk about Palestine. Bitch, what the fuck is she supposed to do? What do you want her to do about it?
Yeah.
But this singer, she's
just
like
like
peace in the Middle East.
That's just like when you have people go in to watch a stand-up comedian and stand up being like, that's not funny. You can't say that. It's like, you paid me.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Courtney, thank you so much, my love. You can't expect a good motivation after 30 years. They've been bad for a long time. Real Stew would have been a blast. No, I totally disagree. I do not want characters.
I just take issue with the whole thing of like, well, we know it's going to be bad, so I don't expect it to be good. And it's just like, well, at that point, who cares? Then just make a bad Scream film, and as long as Ghostface is there, then we'll accept it. Like, I know I'm adding a lot of context, but like that, I don't know. It gets frustrating for me when it's like, it's one thing if you can tell somebody walks into something with bad faith, where they're like, I aim to shit on Scream 7 before I've even seen a scene of it.
Yeah.
Versus somebody that's like a fan, where it's like, man, I hope it's good. And then it's not, and they give you reasons why. it frustrates me when the explanation or the pushback against that is like, well, it sucked before, so who cares? Let it suck again. It's like, I don't want it to suck. I want it to be awesome.
Right.
Yeah. I think the first 4 Scream movies, especially 1, 2, and 4, for me personally, are just such an impossibly high bar that I think maybe I enjoyed it more because I did not have hugely high expectations for this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well, it's tough too, because like with the Scream series started, like for the first 3 movies, they could just comment on horror tropes, sequels, trilogies, and then it had to go away for a while. And then it had been gone for so long that when they did 4, it's like, oh, well, now the landscape has changed. Now we can roast remakes and we can have this whole new pantheon of things we can make fun of. And then it went away for an even longer time, and it comes back with 5, and it's like, oh, now requels and legacy sequels. Like, as soon as you get into a point where it's like, now we're going to crank out Scream movies every 2 years, there's nothing that's changed about the horror landscape, the movie industry that you can really comment on, except for the use of AI, which strangely they use in the movie but never comment on.
Oh, I have something to tell you, by the way. I have got shit to tell you. Get this shit. So, I saw, maybe, what was this, a couple months ago? Some chick, some small YouTuber was going after you, Cody, because apparently you didn't like the people under the stairs.
Oh, boy.
So you're a Klansman.
Oh.
Get this shit, though. So I'm watching this crazy person talking about you, and I'm like, I've met this person. So I went to, this was maybe like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months ago. Some bar was having Scream trivia. So my friend and I went there. She's hosting it. I have a point, I swear. Half her answers were wrong, by the way. So I had to be the Karen being like, no, you're not going to say that's a wrong answer and say I'm not winning at Scream trivia. But so anyway, this chick like goes around, she's like, oh, Scream 7 is coming out, and they just announced Matthew Lillard was coming back. So she's like going around to the audience, what's your theory on how he'll be back? And people are like, oh, he's really alive, or he's from jail. And I said at the time, I was like, I think it's going to be a commentary on AI. This bitch tried to shame me in front of the whole place and goes, okay, well, I guess we found the crazy conspiracy theorist. Fuck you. So I have never felt so validated. I was right. Fuck you.
I half believe that chick is AI herself. It just feels like Chat GPT is in her brain. Yeah, I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was something that came up, and I just chose not to even like address it publicly. Before I even really like felt like maybe I needed to, there was already like a whole drove of people like, this is bullshit. And so I was like, I don't even need to address it. So that was cool. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And oddly, that the person you're describing vehemently opposes the person that she seems to portray herself as on that TikTok or whatever the fuck she has. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, sorry not to get into that. I just thought that was hilarious. Like,
yeah,
trying to. I was right. As soon as they said AI in this movie, I was like,
mm-hmm.
So wait, something I want to talk about. Okay, a criticism I have to get into. How did you guys feel about Courtney Cox in this?
Gale has probably been my least favorite of the core 3 characters for quite a while now. It feels like there's just nothing to do with this character, and it's been that way for movies after movies. Like, I think she's great in the first couple, but they have just like they've literally like planted her character arc in cement where it can't go anywhere, because every movie is like she seems to become a little bit better of a moral person, and then the next movie she regresses, and now she's like the career-driven bitch. And, you know, that she's fired from something and now she's on her own and now she's working back in the news station again. It just yo-yos back and forth all the time. And so, like, 5, I thought it was at least interesting. Good performance because she gets to react to Dewey's death and then has a vengeful side to her in the 3rd act that I thought was great. That's the best Gale anything that I think we've had since 2. And then in 6, it's like she was just there. She's just there because she's the legacy character. And then you get into this one, and I swear to God, like her and the 2 twins pulling up in that van to run over Ghostface, like it was so cartoonish. They might as well have been the fucking Mystery Machine.
I did love that, though. Everyone cheered in the theater when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was ridiculous, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Let me see. I believe I still have it in my notes. Ghostface gets run over by Gale Weathers, who has Chad and Mindy with them. And then in parentheses, this was hilarious, but very scary movie-esque is literally what I wrote there.
Yeah.
What's interesting, too, is, this is totally true, Dylan. Gale and the twins were majorly sidelined in this movie. I've said that about her in every friggin' movie.
I liked the twins in this movie. I wish we would have gotten more of them.
I'm convinced that the script just had placeholders because they did not know what actors were actually going to come back and support this movie after the pay dispute bullshit and then eventually the Melissa Barrera stuff. So it really felt like the script was written like Mad Lib style, where it's like insert legacy character here in the second act. And you could take the twins out, put Kirby in. You could take Kirby out and put Gale in. That second act's not really going to change much. And it felt like the rewrite was probably just to fine tune the dialogue and add the news sequence, the interview sequence to tailor it to what characters they had. And then conveniently at the end of the second act, they all just get like Mindy and Chad get knocked over, and then Gale is just like stuck at the news station. Like, we'll get into that scene too. Like, I mean, you have a situation where they're doing this interview, and then they get another call from Stu, and he's like, "Hey, your daughter's at this bar. I'm about to kill this bitch. You better get over here." And so Sydney, who is always the smartest person in the room through all these movies, runs outside, realizes that the keys are not there. Gale has the keys upstairs. Rather than go back upstairs and get the fucking keys, she just starts running. Like, this shit's like 16 miles away, but she's like, oh, and just runs, which doesn't make any sense for her character, doesn't make any sense as a parent, and makes even less sense for why Gale is just like fucked off for the rest of the movie, because she could just as easily walk downstairs, get in the car that she has the keys to, pick up Sydney and beat her the fucking thing. Like, and so, yeah, to me, it's just, that was one of the main things for me, where it's just like, you just had them in here because they agreed to be here. You didn't have a point for them to actually be in the movie.
Right.
Yeah, I have to say, too, and it pains me to say this. It pains me. Gale in Scream 2 is probably my favorite thing in any movie. She has such an amazing arc. Her performance, her everything was amazing. So and
her hair looks amazing in that movie before they destroyed it in 3.
Wait, what was?
Her hair looks amazing in that movie before they destroyed it in 3.
Why can we not bring back her? Okay, her hair has bugged me so much in the last, like, 5 movies, Scream 3. I feel like her Scream 3 hair is better compared to what they're doing now.
Oh, boy. Don't go that far.
I hate saying this so much, but I honestly think she's had so much work done that she can't act anymore. Because this movie, I really thought she was fucked up on pills for the whole thing, because, like, and it was an intentional acting choice, because they show her shaking and then they show her popping pills, and I'm like, oh my god, I figured it out. Gale is a pill junkie. Like, I really thought that was going to be a reveal at the end, because they have this big moment where she's popping pills and she's and then it looks like she's shaking and she's cold. I'm like, oh my god, Gale is a pill junkie, but then it's never mentioned again.
Yeah, solid opportunity to actually do something with her character, and it was just like a blink and you'll miss it character development. Like, you can literally look down and grab a handful of popcorn and miss that whole element to her character in this movie.
That's literally what happened to my friend. She went to pee, and I was like, I think Gale is maybe a junkie now, but she
what the fuck did I miss?
Well, and I think that at that moment, I think another reason why that moment hit so hard is because she's asking her, like, what would you have done if I asked you about Dewey? I'd have done the same thing I do every day and tell myself it's fine. You know, because that's what, when I hate calling drug addicts junkies. I really do. I've been there, you know, like I luckily made it out of there, and I had kids, and that straightened me out, you know, but that's what you do. Like, I'm fine. Ain't nothing wrong with me. You know, like, I'm going to make it. These pains that I feel, I'll drown them away with this, or I'll, pop them away with that. And so, like, that, I did feel that too. I was like, oh, she's going down this road of narcotic abuse because of all the loss that she's suffered.
Oh my God, I thought I was the only one that thought that.
Yeah, but because of the way she says it too, like, I'd tell myself the same thing I do, I'm fine. It's fine. And it was just like, that moment to me was probably the most emotional part of the movie. You're just like, oh, like, God, she has so much loss.
There were sprinkles of potential there between Sydney and her daughter and Sydney and Gale that I thought paid off decently at the very tail end of the movie, where she's, she has that line that could have been throwaway about how Tatum was the last friend I ever trusted. And even in that moment, I was like, damn, that's kind of shitty to say. Like, she's been right there for the last
right there
6 times. But
it seems like Gale would make a face, but she doesn't really. And I'm like, her face can't move because I feel like there's supposed to be a big reaction there. But
and so when she makes up for that at the end, is like, I was wrong for saying that. Like, I trust you, and I should have been there for you. Like, that was cool. And then whenever, even though I feel like they overcook how important Tatum is to her original friend is to Sydney, I like the scene about I named you Tatum because of such and such. Like, that was a solid moment. And I'd like to think that was the Kevin Williamson of it all. Like, I really would be fascinated to actually see like the script edits and what was him. Because even though this movie really bummed me out, like, I'm trying to still hold out hope for the future of, well, hopefully they're not going to fast track and rush Scream 8. Like, I know they're already talking about, we're going to shoot it March of next year. And it's like, stop, calm the fuck down. But I hope that by the next one, he actually gets to write the whole thing. Because it just felt like, for whatever dumb reason, despite having so many reasons to pause and actually like let the dust settle, like they were just rushing this one. You had the original idea for 7, then the cast starts to leave, then the directors leave, then Christopher Landon gets death threats and he leaves, and then so now it's just, I don't know what version of the script Kevin Williamson got, but clearly somebody was like, you can have the job, but we need the movie out by this date. And I'm hoping that's not going to be the future of this.
And I think that's one thing that I think is hilarious is people forget Landon was getting death threats and people were doxing his address for his kids because he was still on the project that fired Melissa.
Yeah.
That's why I never took that shit seriously. Like, you forced this director out because you were putting his fucking address out there for people to go and hurt his kids. Like, that's fucked. But that's fucked.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why I think, though, like I said, I think in some ways it was somewhat a step in the right direction that I would be very interested to see what Kevin Williamson does starting from scratch on 8. Because anyone stepping into this, it was probably going to be a mess no matter what. So he said that him and Nev Campbell have an idea for 8. So I'm hoping that they just let them run with it. Because the thing that's really bothered me about 5, 6, and 7 is this sort of tell, don't show. And this shortcut storytelling where it felt like that's a problem I had with the Sam character too, is they kept telling us, oh, she could end up as Ghostface and she has this dark side, but we never really see it. And that's the case with most things in the last 3 movies, I feel like. So hopefully him starting from scratch could be, I don't know, more creative or something.
Yeah, according to Skeet, that was the original plan for 7.
I don't believe that. Do you?
I do.
Really?
That's what Skeet said that in the interview that I watched, he said that the initial plan was a 3-movie arc, and Jenna was going to die in 7, and that was what was going to push Melissa over the edge, and that's when she was going to become a Ghostface killer.
Would we have wanted that, do you think?
It depends on execution.
Yeah.
It depends on execution. Like, if there's a lot of things that have to line up to really make that work, especially if it's going to be like a 3rd act reveal, because how do you have the movie with the protagonist and you don't follow them? Like, that would have been a bitch to write. Do you guys think that now that Kevin Williamson and Nev Campbell are back, do you think that they, as a duo, pretty much have creative control of this franchise for the future?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was talking about that. Like, it felt like...
Which I'm happy about.
We'll get into that. That's why I was asking. So, like, it felt like, especially for Nev, she kind of had them by the balls in this one, where it's just like, okay, we had this whole public thing last time. Now you need me. So guess what the fuck you're going to do? You're going to pay me this. You're going to give me executive producer credit. And I get first screen. Like, I would not be surprised if there was a whole checklist of shit. Like, if you want me, bitch, you're going to pay up this time.
Oh, I love it.
I'm
so
securing that this is not going to happen ever again, which we'll see if that's good for the franchise, but good for her. And I would not be surprised with Kevin Williamson if there was something similar where it's like, okay, if you want me to come back and shepherd this into, out of all this bullshit that you guys have created, then this is my baby now. That I'm taking the reins. And so I would not be surprised if going forward, if those two are the ones formulating the ideas and he's writing the script and she's producing and he's directing and she's starring in it for at least the next 2 films. But my question is, despite as fans of them, that's awesome to hear. Do you guys have any fear or hesitation or reservations about yet again having this franchise absolutely tethered to Sydney and Gale. Like, what is left to be done?
That's what I was going to say, because we know that Sydney's not going to die. Sydney is not going to die. Nev has made that perfectly clear. I believe she has a clause where she can nix any Sydney death. I believe that's what it is. And it gets old when I keep watching the same movie and I know that certain characters are safe.
Yeah.
And, we need a Dream Warriors right now. Mm-hmm. We need a Halloween 4 or a Halloween Resurrection that is not scared to come along and kill the person that you think is completely safe. We had that happen with Stranger Things. Like the plot armor of all of our characters being safe. And even the one that we do lose, there's still that chance they're out there. It's like people are so scared to kill off a character because of what people might think. But, man, when I watch a movie like this, and especially a slasher, and I'm like, Gale, Sydney, Tatum, Chad, Mindy, they're safe. Our 5 main people are safe. Yeah. And at least, I see someone said we need Halloween Resurrection. What I mean by that is they killed Laurie in the first 10 minutes. We need something where we're not afraid to kill our protagonist in the movie. That's what I meant by that.
Let me tell you, when I was like maybe 10 or something, my grandma took me to see Halloween Resurrection when it came out. I was depressed for a month that Laurie Strode was dead. We didn't know there would be another timeline back then.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my whole issue is like 5 and 6 have their issues, significantly more in 6. I'm not going to dispute that. But I really felt like that was a good direction to go, especially with the way that they did in 5, where it really did feel like a torch passing movie. You still got our legacy characters. Mm-hmm. They showed up to be the plot armor badasses in the 3rd act, and it worked. They're getting fucked up in the house, and Sydney and Gale's like, all right, fuck this shit. Let's take this bitch out. And so I thought it was great. And then, 6 probably should have went differently in many different ways. But I liked going in new directions. I liked evolving, kicking the doors open to go in some new places that we haven't been before. And like, I'm somebody that I like to think of myself as creative. I always have ideas like flowing about like, oh, it'd be cool if they did this and fan film brain. But I don't know what the fuck there is left to do with Gale or Sydney at this point, especially if it's off the table that there's going to be any loss. Mm-hmm. Because what is it going to be now? It's just like, okay, the only revolving door of like the plot element is we got to figure out a new stupid reason for Ghostface to target her again. But we know she's going to survive. The only people that are going to die are going to be these 5 or 6 new characters that we usually don't care about. And then at the end, the mask comes off, they give a stupid reason, they get shot, and then we go to the next film. And so how many more of those do we have before this is just ran into the ground? Because I feel like we're right there.
Yeah. That's why I'm good. I love them being front and center in the franchise. I want to see more of them, but I think for that to happen, they need to really rethink the way it happens. I think the only way is maybe for Ghostface to be like a fan who's not targeting them specifically, because for them to be the target, it gets ridiculous. So I think for 8, they need to just really reimagine how they're involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it'd be hilarious if Sam and Tara came back in 8.
What's that?
Do you think there's any chance in hell that will ever happen? Because that is a card that eventually you could pull to do like some Avengers shit.
I said I would love for Sam and Tara to come back. I don't. I think that I think Tara could. I think that Tara, I think she could if the script was right. I think Jenna could come back. I don't see Melissa ever coming back. I think, Spyglass could beg and plead, and they could offer whatever money. I think that she's more about, her activism and more about her, I don't want to say pride, because that makes her seem like a shitty person. But
principle. Yeah,
her principle. I think she's more about that. And again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But I think that if they did it, that would be the fucking coolest thing in the world to me, to just bring them back in any capacity. I also said how funny would it be if they showed up in Scary Movie 6. Like, I thought we were done with this shit.
That'd be brilliant. That'd be brilliant. I would be shocked if like just the idea of that. I'd be shocked if they didn't at least consider that, let alone if it's in the movie and we're all gonna die laughing.
Well, I heard.
Yeah, because you imagine, like, it's literally just those two walking down the road, and like a ghost face runs by, and like, weren't we done with this shit? I thought we were done with this shit. And then just that one little throwaway joke. You know what I mean? Like, that would work. But seeing them come back would just like, because I'm with you. Like, I remember when people were like, I'm not going to watch 6 because of what happened to Nev, you know, kind of like the 7 with Melissa. And Nev not being in 6 is one of the least of the problems with that movie to me.
I don't miss her, and I love Sidney Prescott. I don't miss her in the movie at all. I don't think there's a place for her.
I think it's weird that Gale's there. I would rather her not be in it than be, because I read what the original script was for it, and she would have had all of 2 minutes of screen time. Like, I would rather her not be in it than, and that's another thing with Nev Campbell. People assume it's all money. She has never specified that it was only money. I feel like it was probably the role that they were offering her as well. Right. Because it was, I mean, it was like. Well,
I would just rather her and Gale at this point ride off into the sunset and just, you know, have their happily ever after. And if you want to continue the franchise, let's do it like we were going to do with, you know, Sam and Tara. I love that idea.
The thing that's puzzling for me is, like, I don't know, like, maybe they lied to her, maybe they bullshitted her. It's not like that's unheard of in Hollywood, but, like, what exactly did Nev Campbell think was going to happen after 5? Like, did she not know that that was meant to put the forefront on the other characters? And her and Gale by design in that movie is like, okay, you guys you're being left behind in the most respectful way. Like, your legacy is intact, but we got to move on with a different story. Like,
and we don't have to kill you.
It's weird to me to think that between 5 and 6, she was like flabbergasted. Like, how am I not the lead of this movie? It's like,
yeah, but then they market the whole thing with the trio front and center.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would love to see them continue, but they got to figure out a more creative way of doing it. It can't just be the same thing every time. Because the thing that I've always loved about the Scream franchise is, like, as much as I love Halloween and other franchises, it gets kind of ridiculous. One guy who keeps coming back. But at this point, Sidney and Gale are basically the Michael Myers that keeps coming back.
Yeah, my buddy Charles made a point like that in our stream last night, where it's like, usually you have the unstoppable killer and you just kind of like cycle through protagonists and it's ridiculous. And Scream is like the opposite of that, where it's like the protagonists are the ones that have the insane plot armor. There's always a reason to come back, and we just cycle through different ghost faces. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's just that's my biggest concern for the future. Like, it's not the end of this franchise to hit a speed bump. And there's people that like this movie, so it's not like it's a universal, like, everybody's like, nope, like a Halloween Resurrection. There you go, Ken. But your mic's off. But
son of a bitch.
That's my biggest worry for the future is now this is clearly, we've planted our feet in the sand. This is Sydney. She's back. Nobody can take down Sydney. That I felt like they propped that up too much in this movie, where like it was a running gag of like, Sydney fucking Prescott, she's the best. And it's like, every other movie shows me that. You just keep saying it. Like, we know she's a badass, but the more you say it, the more that I'm invested, or the less that I'm invested, because I know she's just gonna fucking clean house with everybody.
And not just that she's Sydney fucking Prescott, but
Sydney
Tatum is Sydney fucking Prescott's daughter.
Yeah, she is. But see, I'm like the brain dead bitch that this shit works on, because I'm like, fuck yeah, she is. I'm like, yes, give me more. I want there to be 20, 30, 40 screams with them in it.
Yeah. I mean, I usually totally dig when they do that. Like, I love the line in 4 where she says, don't fuck with the original. I love the line in 5 where she's like, I'm Sydney fucking Prescott. Of course I've got a gun. Like, to me, I'm like, you damn right. Like, I'm right there with you. In this film, it was like, now you're beating it into the ground. And we didn't cover this so much yet, but I thought it was very odd. You know, you had Kevin Williamson at some point before the movie came out that like caused kind of a scare on Twitter, where he had said some kind of thing in an interview where like kind of suggesting maybe we weren't going to have a meta commentary in this movie. And everybody's like, what the fuck? Like, then what is it? What is a Scream movie without that? And there is meta commentary here, but it's like, it's directed at this fan base. It's directed at this franchise, where all of the meta commentary is just about how Sydney wasn't in New York, but they could never pick a lane with that. Like, 1 minute you have like a jab at Scream 6 for like, isn't it ridiculous that she wasn't in the last one? And then 5 minutes later, it almost felt like they were jabbing Nev Campbell. Like, why weren't you in Scream 6?
Yeah.
Like, she needed you. And the whole movie, I was like, what point are we making here? Because like, I would understand, it's a little low hanging fruit, but I would understand that if you're just going to jab Scream 6 the whole time. But they kept going both ways with it, and then they jab Melissa, and then they reference Melissa, and they talk about parasocial relationships with, you know, our certain characters, being her the subject in this one. And then they roast the Stu Lives crowd. And it's like, I can't tell if this movie is championing the fan base or giving the middle finger to the fan base. Like, Is it a good thing that everybody wanted Sydney back, or are you all morons for wanting her back? Like, it just felt like there was tennis the whole time.
Yeah.
There were a lot of jabs at Gale too. Like when they're in Sydney's house and Mindy says something, oh yeah, we're learning from her about failed careers and stuff. I'm like, bitch, who do you think you're talking to? Like, that's the thank you she gets for hiring your ass. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You talk to Gale Weathers like that. Yeah,
awesome.
her role, and I had heard that, I don't know if this is confirmed, but I had heard that Gale in this movie apparently has more screen time than she's had since Scream 3. I'm like, does she? It doesn't feel like it. Maybe because the screen time she has is just not very impactful.
I don't know. I mean, it's probably like a minute difference, because I've seen some people have the argument too about how like the ghost faces in this movie had the least screen time, and then you have people that apparently clocked it, and it's like, well, they had more than these ones, but it just doesn't. Their screen time isn't impactful, so you don't feel it as much.
That's what really has bothered me about these last 3 Scream movies. Is it feels like before the reveal, the killer is not a character. It's not a full-fledged character like Billy was, like Stu was, like Jill was.
And that's part of the magic that they have missed. Like, you go back to the first film, and the first film is so brilliant about making everybody a suspect, literally, like playing into what Randy is talking about. Everybody's a suspect. They give everybody a motive. They give everybody a moment. Like even like the scene where she gets this phone call from Ghostface, and they open the door, and Dewey's sitting there, and he's got the phone, and it's like, well, has the phone in his hand. Like, they give everybody a moment to put them on your list. And then they give you legitimate reasons to cross off, like, oh, well, Billy was in jail. We'll take him off the list. We're playing Clue here. They kind of lost that along the way. And so for the last few, it's been more about like really obvious red herrings, and then just having a bunch of nothing side characters, and we'll just pick one instead of like having a legitimate main cast member, you know, like having one of the twins be revealed or something, somebody that we actually feel like we know. And so you get to this movie, and it was a weird thing where like the Ghostface reveals were like obvious and out of nowhere in equal measures. Where it's like, I knew it was them. Also, what the fuck is this character's name? And so it was just so unimpactful, where the masks come off, and I'm like, yeah, you had one scene 45 minutes ago.
Right.
Like, I don't give a fuck.
Even 2 did that, you know, with Mickey and Mrs. Loomis, you know, like we're like, but it didn't matter because Mrs. Loomis's motive was so fucking good.
Yeah, that was the kind of clincher for it. Because I defend the end of Scream 2. I think that Timothy Olyphant's performance is so fun that it makes up for his
out there, dude.
It makes up for his absence in the second act. And for me too, it's like, well, the reporter being the killer is kind of obvious, but then you get the secondary twist of, oh, it's Mrs. Loomis. Oh, okay, cool. We're on board. We're good.
Yeah. And then Roman wasn't in Scream 3 much, you know? So, I mean, I think that there's times where the killers aren't in it often, but the motive makes up for it. Yeah. You know, you didn't get that payoff with 7, and you didn't get it with 6 either, because we had already seen the same fucking thing in Scream 2.
Yeah.
You know, so you didn't get that. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Stop reminding me. I kept saying that about this movie. Like, when the boyfriend came to the window, he's like, I just realized I never came through your window. I was at home watching the Stab movies. I was like, stop reminding me of a better movie right now. Like, all you're doing is reminding me of a movie that's better than you. So knock it the fuck off. Yeah. And that's what 6 did with 2. I mean, the parents in the theater. And then I started thinking, I'm like, Kirby's an FBI agent, and she couldn't deduce that was fucking Jack Quaid's dad?
Well, even Gale in that movie, like, she wrote a whole fucking book on Richie, and it's like, at no point did you know what his family looked like. Like, there's so many problems with the last 20 minutes of Scream 6. That movie legitimately felt like the radio silence had to get called away to go do something, and somebody took over the writing and directing for the final act.
Yeah. But the thing is, like I said, I'm such a fanboy that even Scream 6 is my least favorite of all of them. I've rewatched it 100 times probably. Like, even somebody in chat said Scream is like pizza. Even bad pizza is good pizza.
I was saying that last night. I was like, the 3 consistencies you got: sex, pizza, and Scream are always good, even if they're not good. Until this time.
I've been married for 21 years. Can we talk about that sex thing again?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's just see, and I'm the minority here, and like the big minority here, that I don't like Scream 4. Like, I know.
What?
Stop it!
Charlatan.
What do you like about it?
The movie looks like someone jizzed on the camera.
Yeah, the look of it is bad.
How dare you talk about my extracurricular activity?
The double fake out at the beginning just irked the shit out of me. I don't like fake outs in general. Like, I don't like them. You did one, and I was like, oh, that was cool. And then you did it again, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, what the fuck? Like, and the Culkin kid is such a wiener. Like, he bothers me. Yeah. Like, this is one of the killers here is a fucking Culkin kid that couldn't make it through the Good Son. And it's just like, there's just, I don't know. I want to, because I think that might be the best third act in the whole franchise, with the exception of part 1. But the first and second act of Scream 4 is just so drawn out, and the kills are good, obviously. I think that besides 7, it's some of my favorite kills. I don't know. It really bothered me. Like, there's just something, and I've watched it, probably 50 times, and it's not like I hate the movie. It's just easily my least favorite of the bunch.
Scream 4 was the single most fun I've ever had in a movie theater in my entire life. There used to be this huge movie theater in the East Village of Manhattan. So I saw it midnight, the night before it comes out. The audience is like probably 99% gay guys. So when that line came on that they say, nowadays to survive a horror movie, you have to be gay, the entire theater erupted in cheers.
Awesome. We're safe!
That I love Scream 4. Scream 4 predicted the damn future. Fucking everyone is Joel Roberts now.
When that movie came out, I was actually feeling like it was a little like somehow people were like missing how on the nose it was and how perfect. Like I was like, this is exactly how people behave online. Like they nailed it. This is genius, and it's only gotten more relevant as time has gone on. So it's almost like a little ahead of its time. And then same thing with 5. 5 is like toxic fandoms right before the Scream fan base lost its mind 1 movie later.
Yep.
This is what they need to get back to. Troy, thanks so much for the super chat, dude.
What's up, Troy?
I'm not with the unstoppable protagonist either. No surprises. It's like asking me to be excited for a 6-3 match between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. Oh, that sounds like torture. No, I am about it. I completely am about it, but if they can figure out a more creative way of doing it. It's got to be something like Ghostface wants her alive and isn't targeting her, or something like that. I think
a really cool angle, the only angle I can think of to go with Sydney that would be really cool that could reflect the time, and they scratched the surface on it with the opening of this movie where you got the 2 influencers that go to the Mocker house and they're like, holy, who's your favorite Ghostface? Oh, this is where that bitch died. Like, there's something weird about that definitely reflects a bit of our culture where people have like Jeffrey Dahmer t-shirts and shit like that. And it's just, it's strange because in the movie, those are real life murders versus like, we all like going to the Michael Myers house and shit, but that's fiction.
Yeah.
I think a really cool angle for every movie, Sydney's like the star, she's the celebrity. She's the one everybody's enamored with. You're her, you're the final girl. You're Sydney fucking Prescott. I think it would be cool to switch that up to where the ghost face tends to be now the celebrity, where it's like the killers are the ones that everybody is propping up and everybody's like, fuck her. Like, who cares about the victim? Because that reflects our time. Like, nobody remembers who got shot. They remember who pulled the trigger. And so I think that would be some way to do some commentary to change up the dynamic a little bit. Like, have Ghostface and whatever he's doing somehow be like internet virality, like maybe Ghostface is fucking streaming the kills on Instagram or some shit that like people are unknowingly helping him while unknowingly hurting her.
Sure. See, I thought it would have been cool if Ghostface survived this one and we didn't find out who it was.
I was expecting
going into a Scream 8. Like that's something I think you could do. I would have been pissed off about it. I'm not going to lie. I'd have been like, what the fuck? Now I got to wait 3 years to find out who the fuck Ghostface is.
I feel like they're going to do that in the next one. You're going to have a killer and then you're going to have Stu as a cliffhanger so that they have somewhere to go in 9.
Yeah.
We want you to write Scream 8, by the way.
Call me, Kevin.
Yep.
Christian, thanks so much. In parasocial relationships, the celeb rarely knows their fan very well. Fan thinks otherwise. That's why we barely know the killers before reveal. See, I feel like there'd be so much cool shit to delve into in that because, like, I've been through this with some weird ass people that follow me. I'm sure you guys have. That, like, what I found creepy about those interactions is that I feel like people who show you an undeserved and disproportionate amount of love always turns to hate very quickly. Like these people will love you in an over-the-top way, and then the second that you don't do whatever they want, they will fucking despise you.
It pertains to this movie too. I just went through this a couple of weeks ago where I had a guy who has been one of my top Patreon supporters for years. Like this guy's probably given me well over a couple of grand over the last few years with his Patreon support. And he's always been like a little strange with some of the things that he says, but like I'm a pretty patient guy. And so like I'm like, all right, cool. Like we don't have to agree on everything. Let's just talk about movies. And so there was always a nugget there, but never enough to bother me. And I forget exactly what happened, but like somebody random had tagged me on something on Twitter, like phrasing me as like me and my following are like this huge problem. And I was like, what the fuck did I get brought up in this? Like it was something that's like has nothing to do with me, and something that I think it was when the actress who plays Mindy had announced that her character was like they them. And there was somebody who was like, oh, Cody and his followers are the problem of why you have to do. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I never cared that her character was gay. And that's been obvious in Scream 5. They didn't hide that. Like, this isn't news. And so it was just so weird for me. But this guy comes in, this Patreon supporter, and he just starts going on like all these homophobic rants. He's throwing out the F word left and right. And I'm like, dude, like, first of all, not fucking cool. Second of all, like, that's the last thing I need you to do to like, you're defeating the point that I'm trying to make. And so I blocked him, took him off Patreon or whatever. And this fucking guy went nuts. There was like 75 replies in 8 minutes of like him just like bashing me, calling me everything. Like, I'm going to go subscribe to this channel that you hate. Fuck you. And like, I'm like, whoa, how much that pendulum swings from like psycho level of love and admiration to like, I want you to fucking die in 5 seconds.
Yes. Oh God. I've had the exact same shit.
I want to touch on something that Courtney just said. I know creators who get pissed off if you're not giving them 100% love all the time. That sucks. That sucks that you know creators like that.
Yeah, that's weird as well.
Yeah, I think that if I like a movie that you don't like, you should tell me, hey, I thought this movie wasn't good. And I'd love to have a conversation about it. Or vice versa. If I love a movie and you didn't, be like, you know, like, let's talk about it. Let's have a real conversation about it. I don't think that my opinion is gospel, and I don't know any creators who really think that way. And that's a really shitty way for a creator to be. We need you way more than you need us. Creators are a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? So the fact that you guys are willing to listen to anything that we say, that's fucking cool, man. Like when I've had people DM me like, hey, I was having a really bad day and I heard this in one of your things and it brightened me up. And you hear that shit and it's like, that's the best thing I could have heard. You know, I know that I helped you, but by you telling me this, like you really helped me. So any creator that is like that, I'm sorry you have to deal with that. Because I know that sometimes, you know, creators, it does feel like we're family at times because you listen to us and our reviews mean so much or our opinions mean so much. And then, you know, you kind of can feel disrespected by something that they say. And it really is a very, very touchy and very hard beam to balance on.
Yeah, like it's such a weird thing because like one of the most interesting things to me is having a discussion when I disagree. Like to me, it's almost a little boring. Like if all three of us didn't like the movie, it's like, I agree. And like that's the whole time versus having a back and forth. That makes it more interesting. I think where some people, and this is the minority, but like where some people lose the plot a little bit is they equate attacking you to disagreeing with you. Yes. So like if somebody's like, hey man, I saw Scream 7, like I had a really good time with it. Like I thought this worked. I thought I saw things a little deeper than you. Like it's a bummer you didn't see it, but this is my perspective. That's awesome. That's something I can engage with. You have a different interaction where someone's like, fuck you, you're an idiot, you don't know shit, fake ass Scream fan, bitch. And then they're like, you say something back and they're like, well, I'm just disagreeing with you. You're sensitive. That's not the same thing.
Well, yeah, because we've been told for years now that disagreement amounts to hate. That if you disagree with someone, you hate them. Yeah. All right, it's just bullshit. It's bullshit.
I can't tell you how many times the three guys on this panel have disagreed with each other.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I agree with Cody. If we all felt the same way, there'd be no reason to watch influencers. There'd be no reason to watch creators. Like, the world would be fucking boring. It's good to be able to have. Again, I've been married to my wife for 21 years. I promise there's very, very little we agree on. You know, and you know, if you've never hated your partner or you've never been in love with your partner,
Oh,
So, it's just one of those things where disagreements can be healthy, and especially if you're mature enough to have a disagreement in a healthy way without you can ask Ashley. I've never cursed at my wife. I've never called her out of her name. What the hell's that going to do? That's not going to fix anything. I've never heard my buddies fight with their girlfriend and being like, "You're a bitch," and her being like, "You're right. This fight's over." Like it doesn't
Make
work.
a valid point. Good fight.
Right. Yeah. Let's go to bed now. So like I don't get that frame of thinking of maybe if I be really nasty and derogatory towards you that you'll see my way a little better. Like, no, let's just have a conversation. I'm always down to have conversations, especially about horror movies.
That's something that a lot of people on the internet just don't grasp. It's like, when is bashing somebody, quote tweeting, dunking on them, and like just using every word in your vocabulary to shit on them? When has that ever changed somebody's mind? Like, if anything, that makes them dig their feet in the sand even further.
They don't want to change anyone's mind. They just want to show how virtuous they are. What a good person I am. It's narcissism is what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, no, like these parasocial bitches are crazy, which once I saw that was the motive in this, I really wish they delved into it more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for a lot of us that actually do a lot on the internet, some of those things they hit a lot harder for us. Like there's a movie called Spree with Joe Keery, where he's like an Instagram influencer. Basically, it's a different company name in the movie, but he goes on a killing spree, but he's live streaming it for followers and everything. And the whole first half of the movie is about the struggles of putting your heart and soul into your content, and nobody gives a fuck. And it's a movie that kind of came and went. Nobody really talks about it, but I love it.
Great movie though.
I watch it and I'm like, yes, I've been there. That's so fucking true.
Yeah, I realized that the other day that was that guy's acronym. I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah. I just brought it up because someone else brought the name up again. Yeah. But that's the perfect acronym.
I've seen it a couple of times.
Look, I wish I could hang out longer, guys, but it is a school night here, and it's 9:30, and you've probably seen my daughter coming in and out. She's very tired. She wants Dad to come lay with her and read her a book for bed. Okay. So I do got to bounce out. But I love you both. Thank you guys for having me on. I'm sure I'll talk to you both in the very near future. And like I said, not trying to bounce. I really wish this is where I could be, but it's daddy time. So I do got to go and take care of that. So
you guys,
everybody in the chat, you guys, thank you very much. I hope I can see you guys again very soon.
Love you, dude. Everyone go subscribe to this beautiful bastard's channel. The links are below.
All right, see you guys.
Bye, dude. You guys are awesome. So I wanted to ask, what did you think about the opening?
I really liked the opening. As an isolated sequence, I really like the opening. The issue that I have with the opening is that as you go further through the movie, and especially you get to the end, the opening serves no purpose for the plot.
Yeah.
There's no real logical reason why that opening took place other than to have visuals of Ghostface burning down the Mocker house for the posters and the trailers. And I've heard people try to explain it where they're like, well, they had to do that to kind of set a little bit of doubt in Sydney's mind. And I'm like, but no point in the movie does Sydney give a shit about that house. It doesn't work. That's for the audience to create doubt in the audience. But if it doesn't actually translate to the characters, then that's weird writing. So aside from that gripe, the sequence in and of itself, I think, was one of the stronger openings. I thought that it was cool. It reflected things that, as I was just talking about, is legit for our time, where people idolize serial killers in a weird way. I think that the fake out with the animatronic Ghostface was really cool. I loved the shot of almost going Michael Myers with Ghostface, where he's in the shadows and you get a 1-watt bulb on his face for a second and then it descends back. That was really fucking cool.
Yeah, I really appreciated that they tried to make Ghostface scary again and have him in the shadows, and the pacing of it, that it kind of took its time more. Because the last two openings I felt were so rushed. The opening of 6 is my least favorite by a mile.
That was such untapped potential, because when I was in the theater and I was like, we're going to know who Ghostface is the whole fucking movie. What the, that was a really exciting moment, because I was like, now all bets are off. Yes. And then Ghostface kills Ghostface. And I was like, oh, it's still kind of clever, but that you dick tease something way cooler than that.
I know, it was all for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I think this was my favorite opening since 4. Okay. I love the fake outs. I'm with Ken that I don't always love fake outs in general, but I just love everything about 4.
Yeah.
What about the Chad and Mindy? I can't decide if I see a lot of people saying they like them more in this. I don't understand why they have like I get why Sydney and Gale have plot armor. Why
Yeah.
do they have such plot armor though?
I
It
think,
almost seems to me like they're trying to make Chad, Mindy, and Tatum the new trio.
well, I don't think they were ever intended to always have plot armor. I think the problem with 6 is that they were trying to keep the core 4 together at least until 8. And so they gave them way too much plot armor in that one. And then because of Melissa and Jenna Ortega leaving and them coming back for this one, I think it would have been too much of twisting the knife, no pun intended, to have them killed off in this one. So they were like, well, fuck, they got to survive at least one more.
Okay, you just reminded me my biggest criticism of the whole movie. I'm so irrationally upset about this. What the fuck was that end credits song?
Oh, the Ice 9 Kills? Yeah.
No, I love that. I was hoping, but the one that plays over the picture credits, they have some like hip hop shit. Because I feel like the end credit song that play with the picture credits have never missed. Every single one was a fucking banger. And I'm expecting to have a whole Ice 9 Kills sing along in the theater with this. They played it after, but that bothered me so much.
Yeah, I don't remember the song, so I can't really comment on it.
Hip hoppy thing. I don't know. That pissed me off. Creepin', apparently. I have no idea who this is because I'm old, but maybe the kids like him.
I don't know. That's not my genre of music, so that could be new, that could be vintage. I really have no clue.
Yeah, I also was thinking at least that one of them were going to die this time.
I don't know. Like I said, I think because the other 2 characters are now like done and dusted for other reasons, I don't think they were going to like add that on top of it of like, well, now we've totally killed off the legacy of 5 and 6. I feel like they would risk really pissing off the 5 and 6 fans that are like, okay, I'm willing to extend an olive branch for you for this film, at least entertain me. I think that would have been too much.
Yeah, I could see that. I think, mark my words, like you said before, I'm gonna say this time, mark this stream. I think it'll be either 9 or 10 that they're gonna bring back Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. I think eventually they'll offer enough money, they'll smooth things over. Who knows what she'll have going on then?
I don't know, man. Like there's a hopeful side to me that thinks that would be really cool. Not just because of the implications of it, but because for story-wise, that would be like, Scream Avengers, and there's potential for that. But it's such a toxic thing that happened between them, and there's been no sense of like maybe even a little bit of reconciliation. And it still feels weird too. Like you had, Nev refused to be in 6 for pay dispute, which was like, this is unfair. And it was like a whole thing about like, if I was a man, this wouldn't happen. And then Melissa gets fired. And there was a big thing there, which I can understand people being a little weird about, where it's like, well, don't you have an issue with how they treated her, but you're coming back and taking a paycheck for the same people? Like there's something weird there where I wouldn't even be surprised if Melissa and Nev have weirdness. So I hope that will get resolved at some point. That would be awesome, but I'm not a believer yet.
Yeah, I get that vibe too. Tom wants to know, Cody, are you going to review the new Bride movie?
Yeah.
It's coming out this weekend?
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, so you'll see it Friday, probably around 4 p.m. on Friday. You'll see the review for that.
I hope it's good. It feels to me like one of these movies that I'm either going to really love or really hate.
I'm right there with you. Like it's so like punk rock in its style, where I'm like, this could be my thing, or it could be really weird, and it's not.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's good. What else is coming out? I feel like there's another one coming out soon.
You got Project Hail Mary that I think is like the week after that, and then Ready or Not 2 is shortly after that, because that's playing at South by Southwest.
Are you feeling hopeful about that?
Yes. I haven't watched the trailer, but I know that like it's basically that her sister's being brought in. That's all I've kind of seen on Twitter. But I love the first one.
I love the first one. I really want this one to be good. I don't know. Like lately there have been a lot of movies that didn't need sequels, and then the sequel, like what was it? The Black Phone 2.
Yeah.
Don't Breathe 2. So I feel like we're on a losing streak of movies that didn't need sequels.
Yeah. I really like Radio Silence, and their last movie Abigail like just was over the moon about that when it was so my thing. And so until they give me a reason to doubt them, like initially when they announced it, I was like, kind of like with Black Phone, I'm like, where do you go with the sequel? And then as soon as I heard, but they're going to tie her down with her sister, and there's just another there's other families tied into this. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm on board. That sounds logical.
Oh, this I'm very hopeful for. Undertone.
Yeah.
There was this one they showed a trailer for also, Hokum.
I know nothing about it, but I'm going to be at the world premiere at South by. So I've already got my ticket secured. I hesitate to say I'm friends with him, but I've hung out with him a couple of times. Joseph Bashara, the guy who does the score for a lot of James Wan movies. He's scoring that one. And so him, as well as some mutual friends of ours, Blasco, Rob Zombie's bassist, his awesome wife, Carol. Like, it's going to be like cool to see a movie with them for the first time. We're all going to be in the same screening.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, this one, it looks like they showed the killer. It was very creepy. And then I looked it up after, and it looks like he literally just looks like the late Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I am so jealous that you got to see, what's it called? Obsession.
Oh, get ready.
Oh, I'm so excited for that.
They're playing it again at South by, and I was hesitant to maybe watch it a second time, but I was like, no, I got to watch something else. So
when is South by? Do you have to be invited, or can you just buy tickets?
You can buy a badge. Yeah. So it's next Tuesday I leave to go there. So I think Obsession is playing either Friday or Saturday of next week, and then it's going to be out in May for everybody.
Oh, I just know that movie is going to rip.
It is.
Oh, I'm so excited for that. What else? Is there anything else you could say that you're seeing there?
There's a lot that I'm seeing that I really don't know anything about. I like to go into these film festivals like with no expectations, like not even watching a trailer, not looking into anything. It's just like I look at their little elevator pitch and I'm like, cool, I'll see that. And so Ready or Not 2 is the only one that I know enough about, just because based off the first film. But they're playing They Will Kill You, which kind of looks like Ready or Not. Where the chick in the hotel killing everybody, maybe a little bit more martial arts flavor to it, but that's playing as well. You've got a movie called Chili Finger, which sounds really interesting. It's Sean Astin and Judy Greer as a couple, and they're eating at like this podunk diner, and there's a severed finger in their chili. So they end up suing the restaurant chain, and I guess Bryan Cranston is like the CEO. So it's like a dark comedy, and I'm like, I'll fucking watch that all day. I'll go check that out. And I'm gonna end up seeing, like, unless I get tired and bail on one, which is very possible, I'm lined up to see 24 different films that week. So a lot of indie shit. Last South by Southwest, there's still movies that are trickling out to this day that I saw last South by Southwest.
I think the only thing I've ever gotten to go into totally blind without a trailer was I got invited to a test screening of The Exorcist Believer like a year before it came out. And it was the fucking Exorcist Believer. I am kind of excited to see, though, what they do with the new one.
I'll tell you what, they knew the one card they had to play. Like, Mike Flanagan is probably the one name you could get me to have faith after Exorcist Believer, because like I'm an unabashed lover of Exorcist 3, but that's kind of like a weird sequel where it's like it's kind of a sequel, but it's kind of its own thing.
So good.
But I'm somebody that said adamantly for many different times, like The Exorcist never made any sense to be a franchise.
Yeah.
And so every time they'd retry, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? But he's the one where I'm like, maybe you can do it.
Yeah, he's literally the only reason I have any hope for it. Dylan wants to know, how was Obsession? Is it a must-watch for the year?
I mean, look, there's a lot of movies that are going to come out that I don't even know about yet, but as far as the movies that are yet to come out that I do have a bit of a scent of, that is the horror movie to watch this year. Like, that was a movie that I knew nothing about, and then everybody was just like, you got to see Obsession. You got to see Obsession. And so my buddy Chuck, my podcast co-host, kind of got me in, luckily, because it was sold out immediately. It was the only movie the entire Fantastic Fest last year that I got locked out of because it had such big hype. I walked out of that movie and I was like, holy fuck. And that was the only movie that everybody that saw it was like best of the festival. Like, nothing's coming close. And there was some bangers that year. What I love about it is, like, it's a movie that just takes such a simple concept, which we can all relate to. Like, it's this guy, he really likes this chick that he works with, and just non-seriously, he buys this little gag gift, this little like wish maker, and he wishes that she loved him more than anything. And you take that to the most psychotic, demented extreme of somebody that loves you more than anything. And this movie like puts it will give you goosebumps. There are multiple things that happen where I was like, I'm so fucking disturbed right now because this is so like a horror movie realization of things that people that have been through. And that I've, like, if you've ever had a psycho ex, like, it's fucked up.
I probably am the Psycho X. But
Like, I'll tease you with one little thing, and this is not like the big scare of the movie, but like there's a scene where after this wish has happened, you know, obviously she's taken a liking to him, and he wakes up in the middle of the night and she's not in bed with him, and the camera just shows like the other side of his room and everything's painted in shadows, and he kind of hears some breathing. Babe, are you in here? Yeah. And she's somewhere in the corner, just like in the dark, like, what are you doing? Watching you sleep. That's all the tease I'll give you.
So excited for this movie.
Yeah.
I am so excited for this movie.
Yeah.
Shut up, Duke. A psychotic love story. Is it about Mikey? Fuck you. Probably, though. I loved Milk and Cereal.
I watched it after I saw Obsession. It was very good. The Obsession is very different than Milk and Cereal, but if you liked that, then you're on board for this guy's sensibilities.
I'm so excited for that. Courtney says, last year it was Cody who convinced me not to see The Woman in the Yard. I still have not seen that because of you also.
Whoa.
I was considering the other day watching it to hate watch it. Is it even so bad that it's good?
It's just one of those things where, like, I don't expect people to be like as just offended's not even the right word, because I don't really get offended, but like just as turned off with the direction that they go as I was. But 80% of the movie is just generic Blumhouse fucking January, February haunted movie. But then it ends up being about a very, very dark subject that you have to really be careful how you explore, because it affects a lot of people. And then the note that they end on is just like so like unnecessarily bleak, to where it's not even like an Eden Lake thing where it's like that's the whole point of the movie and you're on board for it, and that's the journey we're going on. This is one where it's just like, dude, fuck you. Like, what? Not only did you bore the piss out of me for an hour, but then you pissed me off at the end of it. Fuck this movie.
Now I'm kind of interested to see, because I don't even know what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a woman in the yard. That's the best description for it. It's a chick that's got a black veil over her, and she's staring at the house. And as the day goes on, she gets a little closer to the house, and you know you can guess kind of what she represents, because 80% of horror films for the last 8 years have been about this. But it takes it to such a dark
trauma for inner childhood, all that bullshit.
But it takes such a bleak turn at the end. But I would have at least respected it if it was a movie that was just like, we're going to go ultra dark and we're going to go ultra mean spirited and we're going to fucking own it. But it's one of those movies that tries to cop out and like, maybe it didn't happen. Maybe it's about this, but it's so sloppy that the only logical explanation you can come to is that it did happen. You just don't have the balls to just let it be. And which frustrates you even more, because at least you can like have the respect of a storyteller to like, I'm going to go dark. I'm going to go nihilistic. Fine. But if you're going to go there, don't take a step back and tell me that if I see it that way, then that's just the way I view your film. No, that's the fucking way you made it.
Now I got to see it. I got to see for myself how shitty this is.
Yeah.
What did you think? What did you guys think of the new Backrooms movie trailer?
I don't even know what that is.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
I'm not familiar with what Backrooms is.
Oh, really? It's like, you know, though, how they have what do they call it? Creepypasta. It's been like an internet-y thing for a long time.
I'm not very familiar, but I know the term. Yeah.
So apparently the guy who's making it created a lot of those online videos. So the director of it is like 19 years old, which fuck off. I'm 107 and feel like I haven't done anything. You're directing a movie at 19. Fuck off. Yeah. But apparently he's very good. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but I feel like this is, as a concept, anything I've seen has just kind of always let me down when it's supposed to be about backrooms type of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to keep you all night. We should probably wrap up in a little bit. If anyone feels so inclined, send in your super chats or become a channel member. And obviously, you're all probably already subscribed to this man, but if not, do it. Do the thing. Is there anything we've not covered for Scream?
Where does this fit in your ranking?
At the moment, I feel like I'm more interested to see where it ranks a couple months from now. But at the moment, I have it just above 5 and 6. But there's no
really even over 5. Are you not a fan of 5?
With 5 and 6, the things that it does well, it does really well. But the things that are wrong bother me so much.
I've been seeing that opinion a lot over the last couple of days, where a lot of people just have it over 5 and 6. And I wonder how much of that is just like which I've never really understood. Maybe that's this way ever since 5 came out. It seems like there's a lot of people that's just on the train of like, if it's not Sydney, it's at the bottom.
I mean, I want to see Sydney in it, but it's not because of that. It's because of all the other shit. 5,
Gotcha.
the cinematography drives me fucking insane with the close-up shots of everything. You can't even tell what's happening, and the kills. That's another thing. I will say, I feel like this, in some respects, stepped up the kills a little bit. I hate how, especially in 5, it's just all a stab, a slash. Like the original ones had really creative kills. Even the dumbass fucking fax machine. So I feel like I could feel Kevin Williamson's influence on the flying chick.
Yeah.
Which, what the fuck play were they putting on, by the way? Why is there a fairy and a furry?
I don't I have no idea. That was a weird little moment there.
How'd you feel about the kills in this, though?
I'll give them points for creativity, because I've always bitched that these movies don't show enough creativity. They're always such basic knife kills. And, you know, some movies are gorier than others. Like Ford, you got that chick who's just like everything splayed out on the damn bed. But yeah, I've always said like these need to be more creative. And I feel like they did that here, but they also matched the creativity with extra silliness and CGI. And so it's almost like when I put it in my review, it was mixed positive, because it's like, I want to give you credit for doing what I wanted, but it's like you kind of fucked it up a little bit. You know, the kill that we were just talking about, the theater kill, I thought it was very silly to just like, I'm just gonna hold the knife here, and she's just like, with no velocity, she's just gonna touch the knife and her whole fucking shit gets opened up and a pile of CGI guts comes out. I was like, oh, the visual of this, the silhouette with the light when she's hanging there was awesome, but that specific moment, I was like, yeah, I almost had it. And then the same thing with the keg, the beer dispenser, where that's a really fucking great kill until you see CGI beard. I'm like, God damn it. Like, can we just put a tube in the actor's mouth? Like, how did they used to do this shit all the time and you guys can never fucking figure it out anymore?
Digital shit. I'm very snooty when it comes to this, but digital shit was the worst thing to ever happen to movies in general, but especially this. Like, go back. Like, I'm not saying they even have to shoot on film, but like Ty West does an amazing job shooting on digital, and it looks just like film. So bring someone in who can make it, who can get rid of this digital cinematography. I hate it. Somebody else hates 4. 4 is amazing.
4 is good.
How do you hate 4? 4 is amazing. Yeah, that's what I kind of just wish they would be able to go back to, is that sort of creativity. But I feel like I had a great time with it, but my expectations are kind of getting lower and lower with each movie.
Yeah.
So where do you hope it goes next?
I really don't know narratively. Like I do like the idea that I was talking about. Of course, I'm biased because I'm the one that said it, but like I like the idea of kind of flipping the status quo, and Sydney's not the celebrity anymore, and she's like, what the fuck, why is everybody like propping Ghostface up? This is sick. I think there's something cool that could be done there, but beyond that, I just don't know. Like, again, it's such a weird yin and yang for me, where I almost feel like I got a split personality, because I love Sydney Prescott so much. As far as slasher movies, like, that's my favorite final girl.
Same.
But I also, while saying that, think that character is bled dry. Like, there's just nothing left to do. And I can't see it. Now, I'm not saying that somebody else can't. Maybe they got a great idea. Maybe Nev herself has got an idea that's been in her back pocket. Apparently, she's the one who's kind of pitching this new idea for 8, but I just don't know.
I hope it. I want to see her involved, but just in a way that makes sense.
Yeah,
and isn't
exactly.
just retreading the same shit. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm thinking. She can't be the target next time. So figure out a way to, I don't know. I really don't know where the hell there is to go with it after this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe do something where Ghostface has moved on from Sydney, like the new Ghostfaces or whatever, and she has to come in to be like, I'm going to fucking hunt Ghostface this time. Like, something to flip the status quo. Then, you know, in the first 12 minutes of the movie, like, hey, Sydney, guess what? This time I'm back. And fuck, again? Like, at some point, it's almost like a parody, like, Jesus fucking Christ, can I go 3 years?
If they say again, I'm not like other ghost faces. By the way,
I've been planning this since the beginning. It's like, oh, all of you fucking say this.
And I don't think that was even, someone correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that was even in the movie. So the whole marketing was like, I'm going to burn it all down, and I've been planning this for years. I don't even think that had that in the movie.
It's and it worked because they had a great opening weekend. It's manipulating it's manipulation marketing where it's just like they are banking on nostalgia. They put the little tiny, you know, somewhat indiscernible little voice memo from Stu at the very end of the trailer. What, Stu? And so like it's all by design.
I know, but I love it so much though.
And that's fine. Like we all have our things where it's just like, hey, it doesn't take much to win me over with these, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm the same way. Thoughts on the Scary Movie trailer? We were talking about that before. I'm looking forward to it.
It looks fun. I'm a little concerned that Keenan isn't directing it, because to me it's almost like Scream, where it's just like the Wayans brothers are back, and I'm like, fuck yeah, and I'm like, but they're just writing it. The guy that's directing it directed a couple movies you don't like. Fuck.
Yeah, I found that out the other day. I'm like, they're putting the guy who did like the off-brand
Haunted House, or yeah.
Like that's who they're giving this to.
Yeah, so we'll see. I really love the first two Scary movies, and I'm not really a spoof parody guy at all.
Same.
And so I just hope they can harken back to that somehow. And the trailer gives me hope.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. So what are you looking forward to this year other than Obsession? Are there any other ones that are sort of like at the top of the list?
Let me open up, because I never really think that far ahead when it comes to movies, because my brain just will not have any more room.
I'm very excited for
2026 movie releases. What did you say? Which one?
Undertone?
Yeah, I know nothing about it, which is common for me with most horror films, because I try to walk in as blind as possible, but all I hear is hype for how awesome it looks.
I wish I had your willpower.
It takes discipline. Trust me. And there's some where I'm like, I have to watch this. You know, Scary Movie 6. I'm like, okay, I'll watch this.
I said I would do that after Scream 5 and 6 gave everything away in the trailers. 6, they showed like the very last shot of the friggin' movie, but I have no willpower.
Yeah, I mean, Project Hail Mary, I'm really curious about that. Again, I have not watched the trailer because it's based off a book, and I know people who have read the book, and they're like, the fucking trailer gives away the biggest twist. And I'm like, oh, staying away from that. But it's directed by Lord and Miller, and I love what they do.
Okay.
Ready or Not 2, I really hope that's going to be awesome. Let's see here. Keep on scrolling.
I've been hearing this forever that they're going to do a new Evil Dead. Is that real?
Yeah, there's one that's in the can that's coming out this year, and there's one that's being shot for next year. So Evil Dead Burn comes out this year. Evil Dead Wrath, I believe, comes out next year.
Ooh, Ice Cream Man.
Ice Cream Man, I'm curious about that. All I've heard is that it's like a really demented, fucked up movie, which you can expect from Eli Roth, and there's apparently going to be like a lot of shit happening to kids in that movie. I feel like Terrifier 3 like kicked open the door where like it's okay to murder kids on screen again, because everybody's been doing it ever since that movie came out.
I love that. I'm so excited for Terrifier 4. I love that he's taking his time with it though, and not rushing and doing what we were saying about this.
Yeah. There's a movie coming out, and I'm going to see it South by, called Over Your Dead Body. It's Samara Weaving and Jason Segel. I guess it's a remake of a foreign film, but it's about a married couple that's like on the brink of divorce, and they go off to like this little remote cabin for like a let's try to fix things vacation, but they're both secretly plotting to murder the other.
Ooh,
so that sounds really cool. And I love those two actors. Mortal Kombat 2, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And I really like the first one.
I've never seen any Mortal Kombats.
I mean, the first one's dated as shit, but that one is still like one of my favorite video game movies, because it actually it kind of nails the video game in a 90s way. But the last one I really dug. So that one, you've got, let's see, keep on scrolling. I'm not excited for it, but I'd be lying if I said I'm not going to be there day one for Toy Story 5. I'm one of those trilogy truthers where I'm just like, like I think 4
perfectly.
I think 4 is good, but I'm like, even with it being good, it's like I kind of wish it didn't exist.
Yeah, I saw 4 twice, and I could not tell you one thing that happens in it.
I had a hard time with 4, because for me, like I got pissed right from the beginning, because they kick off the movie and it's like the little girl that Andy left all of his toys to, and at the end of 3, he wanted to take Woody with him, and she's like, "Hey, cowboy," and he's like, fine, I'll give you him too. And the movie starts off and it's like, fuck Woody, he can sit in the closet, and I'm like, you little bitch. So that was my attitude for the beginning the first time that I watched it. Then I calmed down and watched it a second time, liked it more, but I feel like that trilogy is better without 4.
Does this Spider-Man not age? Because Andy grew up, but she's just stays the same age.
I'm guessing this must take place very soon after the last one, which is weird because the biggest defense you'll hear from Toy Story 4 fans is like, but we needed this. Like, that was the end of Andy's story, but we needed to say goodbye to Woody and he has to move on. And it's like, well, apparently fucking not, because he's back pretty goddamn quick in this one.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I'll like stream it when it comes out, but you can't end a trilogy that well, and that's probably the only movie trilogy ever to have a great third part.
It might be the only perfect trilogy where it's just like there's no flaw in the whole 3-act thing. Spider-Man: Brand New Day. I really like the Spider-Man movies. A movie that I have seen, but I've been talking about it, singing its praise from the rooftops for almost a year now, that I saw at last year's South by. Comes out August 14th. It's called The Rivals of Amziah King. And it's a movie with Matthew McConaughey and Kurt Russell and a few other smaller actors. But it's a movie that's so hard to describe. So this was a film that in South by Southwest last year, they have all these like big premieres at the Paramount Theater, and that's kind of how I was gauging which ones I wanted to see. Was like, okay, clearly this is a big deal. They're getting the big theater. But the only thing that we could see about this one was that Matthew McConaughey is playing like a beekeeper, and the picture they had made it look like kind of like the Free State of Jones movie he did. Like it's like an old time movie. And so I didn't know what the fuck this was going to be. And this thing starts, and the way that I've tried to describe it is like the first act is almost like a hillbilly hangout musical. The second act is like a heist thriller, and the third act is like a revenge movie. And so he's a beekeeper who this young girl that he used to take care of when she was young comes back into his life, and so he kind of like has like this father role with her and tries to like teach her the business of beekeeping and producing honey. And Kurt Russell's one of his rivals and steals all of his bees. But it's hilarious. The music is amazing. It's emotional. It's thrilling. It had the biggest gore scene that I think I saw in the entirety of last year, and it's not even remotely a horror film. So it's just like, it was the biggest laugh that I've heard in a theater in years, where everybody is dying laughing for like literally 6 minutes straight after this happened, where you couldn't even hear the dialogue because everybody was choking laughing at how funny this was. It was a movie that I didn't know shit about, but I walked out going, this is like one of those movies that comes out every 20 years that is unlike anything else. And so that's one that like for a year now, I'm like, if you have ever taken a recommendation from me, go check that out.
What's it called?
The Rivals of Amziah King.
Oh, I got to see that.
It's not going to be a movie for everybody, but it's just such a unique, wonderful movie that I'm like, okay, in a time where everybody bitches that nothing original comes out, you better fucking support that.
Oh, I want to see that. A recommendation I took from you that is a friggin' classic, Frailty.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh my God, that movie's amazing.
That's my go-to. I always have that one in the holster.
Yeah, that is just endlessly rewatchable.
Mm-hmm.
Someone asked earlier in the chat, what are your thoughts on new Chucky movie? I know.
It really depresses me that I don't even enjoy talking about Chucky anymore.
Oh, same.
And it's not just because of the quality of it. It's because the current state of the fan base has turned me off so much that it's like, I don't even want to talk about anything related to this franchise anymore because it's just miserable. I grew up, Chucky was my gateway into horror. Child's Play 3. Like, I've got the doll right there. He's always there. Love Chucky. I love the first 4 movies. I really enjoyed Curse, but I hate Seed of Chucky. I've given it probably 10 chances to win me over. It's not for me. I don't get it. People say it's ahead of its time. No. I don't see it. And the frustrating thing is that, Don Mancini is obviously part of the reason why I love the movies that I love. He wrote all of them. He directed one of them that I really enjoy. I really enjoyed the first season of the TV show. Had some problems, but I liked the first season. But for some reason, he just likes to triple down on the Seed of Chucky stuff. And I just don't understand why. Like, I don't know if it's just stubbornness. I don't know if it's like he thinks he can do it better this time. So let me go back to that well and try again. But every time he does, you hear a loud chunk of the fan base saying, stop. No, you were on the right track. And now you're doing this again. And that's the way the show went, where season 2 was like Seed of Chucky, the sequel. And then season 3 was like splitting the difference of trying to do kind of season 1 level of seriousness with Seed of Chucky stuff. and then the show got canceled. And it's like, how many things have to happen? Like, you did Seed of Chucky, and then it was never in the theaters again. And then you got into a TV show, and then you did you did the VOD movies. You did Cult of Chucky, which kind of has some of that in there. And then now you have to do a TV show. People love it. It's immediately renewed for season 2 because it does so well. You do the Seed of Chucky stuff again, and you struggle to get a renewal, and then it gets canceled. Like, how many times does this have to happen? And there's a chunk of the fan base that loves that stuff, and that's fine. That's cool. There's a side of Chucky for you. There's a side of Chucky for me. But I just don't, for the life of me, understand why that direction keeps being the chosen direction, because it's not just that I don't like it. It seems like the majority don't like it. Otherwise, it would succeed, and I'd be over here just yelling from a fucking island. But I don't know what this movie's going to be. They were talking about the movie even when season 3 was airing, which made me feel like they already kind of knew they weren't going to get renewed if we're already putting our eggs into that basket. All I know, I think Jennifer Tilly's the one that talked about it, where she said, we're doing a movie, or Don's working on a movie, and it's going to follow up the storyline from the TV series. That doesn't excite me, because I don't know. Did you watch the TV series?
Yeah.
So all the way to the end where they're in the little mannequins. Help me!
Oh, that needs to be included in one of these lists of the worst CGI of all time. That's up
so
there with
bad.
like the Scorpion King.
The faces that they actually like carved in without putting the faces over them looked good. Like, you could have just had that with the voice behind them and it would have looked all right. But nonetheless, if we're following up that, I'm only going to watch it because I'm a Chucky guy and I feel like I'm obligated to watch it. But I'll be damned if I'm going to talk about it unless I just love it. Then it's going to be easy to talk about it. But I have been villainized so much by the Chucky fandom since Chucky season 2, called like transphobic and all these fucking weird things because I don't like the Glenn Glenda character for reasons that have nothing to do with the sexuality.
It was 2 people. They try to rewrite it like it's like they never watched the end of Seed of Chucky. It was 2 people.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's weird about that character. So, okay, if we're going to go down the path of it was ahead of its time and we're trying to represent gender dysphoria before that was even like a mainstream thing, you have the character piss their pants over and over the whole movie, act absolutely pathetic and weird, and then they eventually splinter into 2 personalities, and you make the gender dysphoria personality the psycho. So it's like, what is even the implications of what you're doing here? Like, that's why I don't get it. That's why I don't get the whole, like, it's ahead of its time, because like, if I, was somebody who was gender fluid or whatever, like, that would annoy the fuck out of me. I wouldn't want that to be my representation.
No, it's horrible. It's horrible. I'm the same age. Scream and Chucky were my franchises growing up. Child's Play 2 was the first horror movie I ever saw. And then Scream was shortly after. Oh, it pains me. And people don't realize, maybe if they didn't grow up with Chucky, like, that shit was terrifying as a kid. It was genuinely scary. And he was able to be funny and all sorts of stuff too. But it just turned into a damn cartoon. And then by season 3 of the TV show, I was literally just fast forwarding through it. I mean, like I was saying before, I don't want politics in my heart. Like, of all the things I don't want to hear politics in, it's friggin' Chucky the killer doll. Like, I don't care. Chucky goes to the White House. Like, I would almost rather see him in space than the damn White House.
Yeah, I mean, I covered the shit out of season 1. I did episode reviews. I did live stream spoiler talks. Like, I was just like balls deep in that. I'm like, hell yeah, Chucky's back. Like, I'm excited. I was a naysayer, but this is fucking good. And then season 2, I couldn't bring myself to talk about it twice a week. And it was depressing even just doing my reviews, because it was like every week was just like, I mean, same as last week. The weird stuff is too weird. Why the fuck do we have a Chucky who's nice? We have a Chucky who's got abs. We got a Chucky who acts like he's in Apocalypse Now. Like, this is that weird shit that doesn't work for me. And then season 3, I just did like little shorts because I couldn't even bring myself to do full episode reviews, where I'm like, okay, the gore is great, but why the fuck do we have ghosts in the White House? Like, it's just whatever they decide to do with the lore this week, that's the rules. And to me, it's like, okay, so there's no stakes. There's just, we can do whatever we want. Chucky can fucking be 2,000 feet tall because whatever. Like, that's where it's lost it for me. And I feel like it's just gone such a weird, nonsensical direction where anything is possible that it's just like, I cannot see a path to making Chucky serious again. And that's what I would need. I don't want to see any more ridiculous Chucky. Like, I'll take the 0.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the only way would just be to start from scratch. And
Hmm.
how I feel with Child's Play is the opposite of how I feel with Scream. That I'm encouraged that by Kevin Williamson having control and Nev Campbell, that maybe they can start from scratch on the next one. I'm sorry, I know he created it, but please, dear God, someone needs to pry this franchise away from Don Mancini. I think those early ones, it was the collaboration that made them great. It's
Yeah.
sort of like George Lucas with the original Star Wars, that
Hmm.
there was so much going against him, and it was sort of that tension and that collaboration that made something great. I think it's the same thing with the first couple Child's Play movies.
Yeah, and I believe that for the most part, but the frustrating part of it is he did Curse, which I really liked, and Curse was pretty serious. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, there you go, you got it in you. And then even season one had some silliness, but it was like a good tolerable mix. It was like there's still stuff in here that I can dig. But every time he goes full B movie schlock, every time he goes full like self-referential humor, and Jennifer Tilly's playing the doll and herself, and that stuff just does not work for me. And I just wish the fan base was in a spot where it's just like, okay, you've got somebody that likes the older stuff. That's cool. We get it. You got somebody that likes the newer stuff. The crazier it gets, the more I enjoy it. I didn't really dig the old school movie. Cool. We can coexist, but that fucking fan base I mean, and I hope it's not the majority of them, but it's certainly a loud percentage of them. They're just so fucking toxic. If you are not on board with what Mancini does, then they just villainize you. And like, I was literally getting threatened by somebody on Twitter because I didn't like the fourth episode of season 2. So it wasn't even like I had been bitching that long.
You didn't like the
And-
fourth episode season? You Klansman.
Yeah, it was barely into the season. I was literally getting like physical threats from somebody on Twitter, and they were just tweeting like crazy. And I went to go to respond to one, and Devin Sawa retweeted it and said that his quote was literally, "Oh, look, a critic that can't take criticism."
He has me blocked on Twitter for I got into it with him over something. That guy sucks.
Yeah, that was a bummer because I've loved his movies and I was a champion of him even when he was like his career was nowhere at one point. Like I used to watch Nikita and be like, "Well, fucking Devin Sawa's in there, check it out." So I've always loved him, but that was a huge bummer to be like, you're one of those." Okay.
I totally take back wanting to get it on with him back in the day. I mean, I still would, but it would be less enthusiastically.
Yeah, it'd be like a hate fuck.
No, I was getting told the same shit over the Chucky TV series that I'm homophobic. I'm like,
It's just so stupid. It's like, okay, it has nothing to do. And even like the characters with the TV show, like again, I was digging it for the first season, but after the first season, it's like they really didn't know what to do with the boyfriend characters. Like the first half of season 3 is literally just a bunch of different scenarios where they're trying to find like an isolated place to fuck, and they keep getting interrupted. And my whole criticism was like, can we do anything with them? Like all you're doing is like, these guys are gay. And then the next episode, it's like, they're still gay. And that was the only thing that they had to say. And I'm like, I try to put myself in people's position where I'm like, if I was gay and that is my character representation, would it not frustrate me that the only thing that you can do with their characters is just say that they're gay? Because that feels like that would not be my entire personality, is my sexuality.
That's what's pissed me off.
And that's where the nuance that people lose, where it's like, it's not that I'm not frustrated at all that the characters are homosexual. I could give a fuck, but it's about the writing. Yeah. Like it would be weird if you had two straight people that are like, I'm straight. Did you forget?
It's insufferable. I'd tweeted that. I got a bunch of shit that were for season 1 or 2 or something. I'm like, there's too much gay shit for me. Like, make them characters. I'm sorry, this is just too damn gay for me. And I'm like friggin', walking sequins. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's also, those two actors had zero chemistry together.
Yeah, they weren't the best. There was moments that I kind of liked them, but you really did feel like it's awkward when it feels like you're making two straight actors play a couple. Like there's people that can do it and you buy into it. Brokeback Mountain, whatever example throw out there, where it's just like, I feel this is devastating. But that was like, it felt like the hesitate, even the way they kissed is like, they didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it bothers me so much because also, oh my God, don't even get me started on the character assassination of Tiffany Valentine in the TV series. They destroyed her character. I mean, she's just like a cartoon at this point.
Yeah, you have was it season? Yeah, it was season 2. Season 1, yeah, she gets the one over on Chucky, where it's like she's victorious. And I always like that angle with Tiffany, where it's just like, oh, she's actually the one that's maybe even a little more fucked up than Chucky, because they had that angle in Bride of Chucky. She gets all the best kills. And then in season 2, yeah, they make it to where it's like she's just off doing her own little thing, watching Liar Liar over and over, and
I hate
having
it.
a dinner party with Gina Gershon. And then at the end, she's like terrified of Chucky. And I'm like, it's such a weird back and forth thing with the Jennifer Tilly angle, where like sometimes I love when they make her just psycho and like almost like really twisted in the way that I like. And then there's other times where it's just like, okay, reserve the most campy material that we have for Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it was those first 4 movies were very grounded in a way. Even when things were a little crazier, they were grounded. And her character, she was nuts, but she sort of had a code to her. And there's none of that anymore.
Yeah.
There's no grounding to any of it.
Yeah.
Maybe they can surprise us. I can't imagine.
I hope so. Look, like
I can't imagine that happening.
I will be the first person to shout from the fucking rooftops how awesome it is. Like I want to do that. I don't like not liking Chucky. That's a fucking bummer for me. Like I'm not trying to be a hater.
I don't know. I want to like it. We'll see.
Yeah.
By the way, I love how much you love Child's Play 3, because I saw it as a kid also. You know, you know what's another one though that I will and I know it's horror. Let me preface this by saying I know it's a piece of shit, but you know it is my like personal beloved horror movie, fucking Halloween 6.
Okay. You're not alone. There's a lot of Halloween 6 people out there. Which cut?
Theatrical.
Okay.
I mean, I wish there were a way to sort of converge the 2 endings at the end. I've tried screwing with the edit. I can't figure out any way to incorporate both, but
yeah.
But I'm still hoping they'll have like a Cult of Thorn spin-off series or something.
You never know. They might go back to that well at some point.
I am really excited for the Halloween video game though.
Yeah, I'm not so much of a fan of like the asymmetrical multiplayer games. The one I was really surprised by was Texas Chainsaw, because you could play as a team of killers, and I was addicted to that fucking thing. I played like 100+ hours of that one.
You didn't like Friday the 13th, the game?
I liked it for like a couple of hours, but I get burnt out on it very quick. I'm not a multiplayer guy. I'm a single player story mode type dude. Like I like story, I like progression, and multiplayer is just like wash, rinse, repeat over and over. And so it takes a very special type of game to get me hooked. And TCM was one of those where I kind of rolled my eyes, because I didn't really think much of Friday the 13th. I didn't like Evil Dead at all. And so TCM, I was like, it's another one of these fucking things. And then I saw that you could play as a team of killers, and I was like, oh, that's different. And that game is a ton of fun.
Yeah, I gotta play that. Wait, you said Evil Dead sucks?
I didn't care for it. It's the same thing as Friday the 13th, where you play as like an Ash character trying to get things done, and then somebody plays as like the demonic entity, like floating through. And I, even more so than Friday the 13th, I played it for like an hour, and I'm like, I'm bored.
Yeah, I only played Texas Chainsaw once or twice. I couldn't get into it.
I don't know.
I got addicted to that Friday the 13th game, though. Let me tell you, I had entire flirtmances with people on there. The only thing is, what I've come to learn is random people that you talk with in video games who sound like they're going to be cute never are.
Oh, boy.
Cute voice, bad face. Well, Cody, what have you got coming up on your channel?
I just released today like my February wrap-up video where I talk about all the new releases I saw. So there's 8 movies ranked on there, Scream 7 being one of them. I'm gonna do like a Ghostface tier list video at some point this week. That'll either be tomorrow or Thursday, where I'll rank all the Ghostfaces on which ones I like. And then we got The Bride, so that'll be Friday. And on I have a video game channel that I'm not nearly as active over there as I am on my main channel, but it's Cody Leach Game Chamber. For those that are interested, I have been I've been whoring out on Resident Evil for the last month. So I've been streaming all the old games, like kind of like pre-gaming the new one that just came out. I've just beat that for the second time. So we're going to have a review of that game very soon, and a whole shitload of Resident Evil rankings. I'm a Resident Evil whore.
I've never played it. I've always just had like Nintendo. So I need to actually get like a real gaming thing.
Yeah.
Dude, well, you're the best. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I looked up earlier your Scream 2 review because I remember when that video came out. It said it was
Still one of
7
my
years
favorite
ago.
like cold opens I've ever done.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm like, that's how I like to think I would be in a Scream movie.
Yeah.
But it said it was 7 years ago. I'm like, I've been watching this bitch for almost a decade. So it is such an honor to have you on here. You are the best, dude.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Yeah, for sure. We gotta all hit up a horror convention one day. I still have never been.
Yeah, like I told you and Ken, you got Spooky Empire that they have. I think one in May and one in October in Florida. So I would not be opposed to coming out for that one because it's only a 4-hour drive for me.
Do it. Come stay here. We have guest rooms.
There you go.
Dude, that would be amazing. I'm so excited. Well, everybody, thank you for hanging out. Yes, Duke, I totally agree. Thank you for slumming it with us degenerates, Cody.
There you go.
Everybody, I'm sure you already are. If you're not, follow his channel. The links are below. Thank you, beautiful people, for hanging out with us. I will be back this week, next week, sometime. I don't know, very shortly. See you soon. I'll be right back. Bye.